title challenger. 2's company, 3's a crowd. The 2019 World RX season is the gift that keeps on giving. Welcome to the 2019 FIA World Rallycross Championship presented by Monster Energy. The usually quiet village of Loillac will transform this weekend as some 75,000 Rallycross mad fans converge on this stunning part of northwest France. They come to cheer on their World RX heroes and in the process create one of the best atmospheres of the entire season. Loillac hosts round 8 of the championship. With just 3 events to go, make no mistake, every point counts from here on in. The legendary French circuit has a unique gravel surface and a super committed Joker lap, which will test the capacity supercar entry from the very first green light. World RX's annual trip across the pond to Trois-Rivières blew the championship wide open as Andreas Backer had finally joined the Hansen brothers in the chase to be crowned the brand new World Rallycross champion. The final race of qualifying is where the unpredictable nature of Rallycross showed itself in all its chaotic glory. The infamous Turn 1 caused problems for just about everyone, but especially Backerud, with the RX cartel man coming to a virtual standstill before continuing stone last. Timur Timosyanov will spend the rest of the race with a dust-filled car, while Liam Doran clattered the wall on lap 1, resulting in a puncture and an ensuing hero drive, up to a point. On the very last lap, Doran's deflated right rear finally got the better of him on the gravel. Behind him, Timmy Hansen and Timosyanov made contact. That launched Hansen into the recovering Doran. Timosyanov collected Hansen, and the 3 formed a World RX car park. Backer had seized the opportunity, picking his way through the carnage to a front row semi-final slot, while Hansen took an age to limp home. When the dust settled, the title favourite missed out on the semis by just 1 place. Disaster for Timmy. Backer had seized the opportunity with both hands, winning his semi comfortably. Come the final, the bad luck that has dogged the Norwegian all year was nowhere to be seen. He led from the very first corner. Further back in the pack, the pressure seemed to be getting to the championship leader Kevin Hansen. This forceful pass on Anton Martin not only broke his car, but eventually earned him a DQ and 0 points from the final. An ecstatic Andreas Backerud took the win and celebrated in his own inimitable style. A weekend to forget for Team Hansen MJP and one to remember for their bitter rival.
I've never done really well there. I have a 2nd place from 16, but never really felt that I had a place to win there. I would say we were a bit lucky, especially in Q4 with Liam, Timur and Timmy crashing together at like qualifying heat I've never seen in Rallycross before. Everything happened. Just before the final, Timmy came over to me and he said, "Yeah, congrats, you passed me in the championship now." I was like, what? Because I felt that I was so far behind after Hollies that it was no chance to catch. Sometimes you are lucky. That event I was. For me this year was to get that win, and I'm so happy for that. For me, everything else now is a bonus, and for sure if I get the chance I'll take it, but the relief in Canada was big.
So after the game changer that was Canada, this is how the championship table stands. Kevin Hansen still leads, but his nearest challenge is not big brother Timmy, but RX Cartel's Andreas Backer at just 5 points behind. Despite his torrid time in Trois-Rivières, Timmy Hansen is still very much in the fight 9 points further back, with Gronholm just about staying in touch. In the team standings, JRX Tanako have closed from a 43-point gap to just 16 points off Team Hansen MJP. We're in the business end of the season now, and things are going to get interesting. The first half of the year has been relatively plain sailing for Team Hansen MJP. One brother or another has led the title race from round 1. But for the first time this season, their grip on the top 2 slots has been prized away. Their biggest challenger has split the siblings. It's game on for the World Rallycross title. How do you play it from here on in?
With Andreas also there in the points, of course he's also chasing it, but on the other hand we can't do anything more than drive as fast as we can around the track. So It's in one way 3 guys for the championship, in another way it's just another race. And that's, I think, the most important way to look at it as a driver.
Both the brothers are very competitive. The Hansens have a benefit with being 2 teammates which have been in the top the whole year. I think I can only focus on myself and do as good as I can. Focus on the starts mainly and also the speed on track and try to dial everything in perfectly.
Yeah, we got twice the power to race, and me and Timmy, we don't fight each other. We are here to get that title together. And I think in the end Andreas have to be careful because it's 2 Hansens and not only 1. Being in a championship battle is a lot of pressure, and it's a lot of things that goes through all our 3 minds, I'm sure. We all have the possibility to be first-time world champion. It's important to stay cool. It's important to strip all the things away around and just drive your race.
Canada also saw the best ever result for GC competition's Guerlain Chicherit. 4th place for the Frenchman and both cars into the final for the first time. Loiac would be the perfect place to put the disappointment of Norway behind them and give the home fans something to cheer about.
We felt that it was coming, you know, the speed was there all the time, but it was always like hard for us to put everything together. And finally in Canada we was quite strong the whole weekend. I started the final with the broken gearbox. It was a bit of frustration because clearly I felt I have the speed to do something really amazing there. But you know, it's like this. It was still in the final, 4th best result ever, that's for sure. But that's good, you know, it's good for the confidence to come in Loiac with a strong mindset. And I feel I'm ready for Loiac. So I'm for sure going to push like everything is possible. I'm going to give my best. And I want to be in the podium and I want to fight for my best result ever. And I want to make it happen here in Loiac.
As the drivers get themselves set for another round of World RX, let's take a look at what challenges this super slick Loiac circuit has to offer. One of the classics in the World Rallycross Championship from the very start, just over 1 kilometre long, 40% asphalt, 60% dirt, but the grip levels here are very high and the difference between the Joker and the standard lap, very low. On board with Timmy Hansen over the start-finish line, a little bit of brakes and then in towards turn 1, a bit of opposite lock, he's sideways through there, onto the first dirt section, into the left. Now carry as much speed as you can, run the car wide on the gas and braking just before the crest. You come over the crest, the car gets unsettled in towards the apex. Hansen's quite sideways through the hairpin on this lap. The Joker lap goes right there. He takes the standard lap again on the dirt. You can see the cars merging with you from the right-hand side, and where that barrier ends is where you shut the door or find that you've taken the place. In towards the left, over the curbs, be patient on the gas, back on the brake, in towards the right, again get the car straight and fire it over the start-finish line to complete the lap. Clear skies and fighter jets to get qualifying underway at Loiac. Why not? Timozyanov down towards turn 1. He has contact with Cyril Raymond. The Russian holds on through turn 2, and that is how they'd finish. On board with Kevin Hansen, the World Championship leader. He cuts across at turn 1, trying to get underneath the pack and take a few places back. But at turn 2, he's still in 5th. He fought his way past Herb Napik, but Toppy Haken out front was absolutely flying. No one could get near him in the GRX Hyundai. He set a very quick time indeed. Andreas Backerud down towards turn 1, contact with Scheider and Parsonen into the first corner. Then Markland in turn 2. Backerud and Baumanis chasing down the pack. He got past Markland, but he wasn't happy with the contact from the race. Scheider wins. Timmy Hansen on the outside with Liam Doran, both hoping to go round the outside, but it's Gronholm who gets the whole shot. Hansen comes through for P2, and later in the race passes Gronholm for the lead. He takes the flag, but not the session. Toppy took Q1. Ollie Bennett tried the round the outside in turn 1, but it didn't come off. Sideways into the gravel in the Mini. Cyril Raymond broke the suspension on his car, making hopes of a semi-final slim. Anton Markland took the win. On board with Backerud, he got a bad start. Dropped in at turn 1 and took 2 cars, slotting into the train in 3rd at turn 2. From the outside, you can see how committed it was. Niklas Gronholm was pushing hard out front with a different strategy to Bakkerud. But come the merge, the Norwegian had done enough. Just. Bakkerud takes the race win and third overall in Q2. Timo Scheider got the whole shot in his race. Some thought he'd guessed the lights. Baciuska round the outside into turn 2, ended up third with Heikkinen P2. But Baciuska's tactics and this perfect joker lap put him in a great position on track. Scheider jokered on the final lap. Baciuska pushed hard in the GCK McGann. He'd set an incredible time, winning his first ever qualifying session and delighted to be the overnight TQ.
It's whole team happy, smile, you know. I really excited. Guerlain came to me and said, I'm proud of you. It's amazing to listen for the Guerlain, like boss of the team, you know. JCK never been in P1, and the family JCK team is very happy.
An unusual top 3 then, Baciuska in P1, Heikkinen P2, Scheider P3, Timmy Hansen 4th, Bakkerud 5th, Gronholm, Timosyanov and Baumanis. At the moment making the cut, Doran, Markland, Kevin Hansen and Szabo. Kevin Hansen with some work to do to get towards the front of the grids.
Timo, everything's getting ready for day 2 here in Loiac. Do you think you'll be able to get the same kind of magic start you got yesterday?
Well, it was pretty magic, I would call it, but for sure this happens not so often, but I will try my very best. So it's quite a lot about the reaction time, but we have been good always on this, but like yesterday it will be difficult to repeat this.
And give us a sense of what you can achieve today, because in the top 3 is very good at the end of day 1. Can you stay there right through to the final?
Well, that's a target for sure. I think we did, in terms of tyre strategy, a good call, and we saved some tyres. So we will, we hope at least, we keep the same pace and the results as well. But right now we have the reverse grid somehow, and we're starting first this morning, which is, in terms of track condition, a bit a disadvantage. But I think we have a good strategy for this also. So yeah, let's cross fingers.
And just a quick word about how much fun this track is, classic rallycross track.
It's mega classic, and it's so much fun because the atmosphere with all the fans in that stadium is amazing, and I really love France and the spectators here going wild, and that's a good feeling for us as well. And the track generally seems to be easy, but it's the small things making the difference, and that's what it is.
Very good. Good luck today.
Thank you very much.
Let's try and have a quick word with championship leader Kevin Hansen, who's over here. Kevin, how's the mindset going into day 2 here in Loiac?
Well, I spoke to my mental trainer this morning, Lennart Augursson, and he said, you know, he's back in a few years ago, Sweden met Germany in football, and they were leading 3-0 by halftime. And the coach said to them, let's go out and win the second half. And they did, and they won the game. So that's what it's all about today.
And you're going to be out not in the first race, which is probably good for you. What's the plan of attack?
To take the start and win the race and be the fastest in Loiac. So I have to go for it today. I'm not down to beat P11 where I am, so I have the speed to win the race. So I will go for it and see what I can do. I'm very confident, so let's try.
You're confident, and how difficult is it to put the championship off the front of your mind?
Yeah, it's quite easy. I have a good mental trainer, so we work a lot on that, and I'm very happy. So. No, we have the focus right for today, I think, and it's rallycross. Anything can happen, but I'm ready for a fight.
And finally, just a quick word about how much fun this circuit is.
It's so much fun. I think you could see yesterday, me and Timmy, we both broke the lap record, so we are so confident in the 208 and looking forward to today.
Good luck, Kevin. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, my name's Andrew Coley. I will be your commentator. Joining me is rallycross driver Dan Rook, and reporting from the paddock and the pre-grid, Neil Cole. Here's how we stand going into Q3. Rokas Baciuska, the overnight TQ for the first time ever, followed by Heikkinen, Scheider, Timmy Hansen, Bakkerud, Gronholm, Timosyanov and Yannis Baumanis. Liam Dorn in 9th, Markland 10th, World Championship leader Kevin Hansen down in 11th. Szabo currently on the cusp of the semis in 12th. time to get underway for Q3 in Lowiak. Let's see the lineup for race 1. Rokas Baciuska, Timo Scheider, Andreas Backrud, Liam Doran and Niklas Gronholm. Doran, you can see, is the lowest in the overall standings in P9. He was 17th after Q1, but a great performance in Q2. He was 4th, has dragged him up to 9th, but it's Baciuska who all eyes are on. He won Q2 by over a second. Great job. 229.3. We had both sessions were won yesterday in the 229s. I think Sebastian Loeb managed to dip under it before. Kevin Hansen, Timmy Hansen getting towards the lap record, under it, sorry, but track conditions this morning probably aren't going to lend themselves to that backwards. Got a great start, going to shut the door on Timo Scheider. Baciuska gets squeaked. Gronholm round the outside into turn 2. He's going to be inside, but he loses out the backward. Maybe Scheider too. Backward goes through. Oh, Scheider's run wide. It's going to see him drop to 4th. Doran's up to 3rd, and Baciuska, the overnight TQ man, has dropped to 5th from the pole.
Yeah, not great there for Baciuska, and it looked like he was about to dive into the Joker, but the two in front of him have gone in instead, so that opens up the door for him, which is what he needs. You can see him come around the outside now, so hopefully Liam wouldn't have already gapped him by this point, and he doesn't. So Baciuska's now got that tiny bit of clear air to see if he can find that pace he had yesterday.
They can leave him there now, can't they? He's got clear air if he makes up time, but he's also going to hold up the two guys behind him, which is fine for GCK, I guess.
Yeah, they're not fighting for any championship, but they're just out there for their own, trying to gun it and see what they can do. So for them, it's not about trying to be friends with everybody, it's about trying to get the best result.
Baciuska was so quick yesterday in Q2, but the conditions were very different on board with Backward. This is how early it is in the morning. The sun is very, very low. Look, not blinking at all into the long, fast right-hander. Still hasn't blinked. Now he's going to hit the brake into the left and then wait for it in the background. We can see, was that Baciuska?
Baciuska went for the joke lap, yeah, and on the merge, Scheider got up his inside, so Baciuska not able to capitalise on the bit of free air he did have. Surprisingly, the team actually sent him in.
So am I would have kept him out for another lap. He had some space in front of him, and the guys behind are not his teammates. There you go, fastest lap of the day, Niklas Gronholm, 36.9, but Dan, yesterday we were a second quicker than that, I think.
Yeah, I think it was down in the 35s yesterday, so these guys have got a little bit more pace to find. I think obviously with track development, with it being a bit damper, the guys in the later races are going to benefit.
Kevin Hansen was saying this morning that him and Timmy have both gone under that record, which is interesting because I'm assuming that would have been probably Johan or Petter. I don't know, I must admit. And we don't tend to look at lap records in Rallycross, the reason being the tracks are different from year to year. Baciuska into the back of Timo Scheider quite hard, climbed up over his rear wheel in the last corner. Dan, this is one track which tends to be consistent from year to year. Baciuska, we're getting really racy having a look past Scheider. Scheider sideways, Backward's gone 2/10 quicker than Gronholm went.
Yeah, so Backward had to deliver there. Obviously, Gronholm went on the lap before into the Joker, so Backward pulling it out. Gronholm's around the outside now.
Going to be super close. Backward's going to get it, though, I think. He does indeed. They were this close yesterday, of course, weren't they? Same situation. Backward just knocked out in front, so getting the job done when he has to, but we've seen the lap times are not super quick. These guys are the best in the world, so it's not going to be easy to beat them. But, you know, there are guys later in the races. Kevin Hansen, one of the best in the world. How do you fancy the chances of this getting a couple of tenths quicker?
I think it's definitely going to happen, isn't it? And for Kevin's position, he needs to make sure he can get the start this time, but from there, he should be ready to go.
2:32.7 from Backward. I say yesterday we were into the 2:29s twice. Baciuska's 2:29.3 was an epic run in Q2. That might be the fastest full-lap run ever around here, but fantastic. Backward all smiles. We saw yesterday he got a little bit fired up with Markland. He then apologised later on. Good guy, Andreas. You know, he's in that fight. Interesting, isn't it? He's obviously feeling the pressure. Gronholm second, Doran, Scheider, Baciuska. Not a great run there for Baciuska, having been overnight TQ, but he'll be right up there with the results he's had, a 5th and a 1st. And then interesting to me as well that Kevin Hansen said he'd spoken to his mental coach overnight. So he's called his mental coach and said, you know, I need to get my head in the game. Kevin Hansen, a fair way back. So Backward off the line, just a great start, hooked it all up.
Yeah, not too much wheel spin there. You see the car gripped up and went, and Gronholm on his outside, but not able to capitalise. Track being a little bit slippier this morning, then you run into the gravel trap.
That was Scheider. Look at Scheider, 45 degrees to the road. Lost a place to Doran, and then him and Doran went Joker straight away. So I was slightly surprised. You could see Baciuska there, the nose was in and then out, wasn't it? Didn't seem to lose too much time. He then jokered on the next lap, Dan.
Yeah, for me that doesn't make sense. We're watching him through the joker lap now, maybe not quite hooking it up like he did yesterday, and then Scheider able to get up his inside and knock him wide there. So that was, you know, perfectly fair move.
Grönholm in the joker. Doran just behind him, and of course it was Bakker who went on the last one. That was after Baciuska had run into the back of Scheider. I suspect maybe, you know, a bit of argy-bargy there thanks to the contact at the merge. There it is. Touched him fairly firmly on the exit of that last corner, but this was the merge on the last lap, and Andreas Bakker had edged Niklas Grönholm, but the track is getting quicker.
Andreas, great to get a heat win, but the big question is, how slippery is it out there this early morning track?
It was very slippery. Obviously the sun just got up, but we went on a bit soft and safe setup to be ready for slippery. But it was more grit than we anticipated, so unfortunately we were a bit too soft, but it felt pretty good. The start was very good. I'm happy that like all the guys in our team have been working hard to understand the start a little bit more, and yeah, it felt pretty good. Just a little bit too soft, so probably a bit too slow at the end, but I enjoyed the first race. So it is like that when we change the grid order. I'm a big fan of that. You never know what's going to happen and who you are against, so I think that's pretty cool.
Thanks.
Let's see the grid then for race 2 of Q3. Topi Heikkinen, who won Q1 on the inside. Gulan Shischer at 14th. He had a dreadful run yesterday, I think, in Q1, so Shischer is going to be looking to get into the semis at home. Timmy Hansen in the middle of the grid, 4th. Anton Markland, 10th, and Timo Timosjanov, 7th. So Timmy Hansen needs to make up some points on his brother Kevin and Andreas Bakker. There are still 90 up for grabs, remember. There's only 14 at the top of the table, so it's all to play for, but we know what it's like. They're all quite consistent. Every opportunity needs to be taken. And he's taken it there. Shischer's got another dreadful start. Heikkinen gets a good start on the inside. Timosjanov trying to go around the outside. Lights it up. The Russians up the inside of Topi. Timmy Hansen coming around the outside of Topi. Timmy's on the inside now to turn 3. Topi puts him off into the gravel. Got it fully lit up. Hansen drops down to 3rd place. Markland takes the lead. Who's going to go joker? Timmy goes in straight away. Maybe a tap from Topi on the way through.
Yeah, because Timmy then has to slow the car up a little bit more to the guys that are going to the standard lap, so Topi collecting him there, but they were lucky to not be in the barrier on the exit of turn 2. I think with the track being that little bit slippier as well, they can't afford to try and chuck it around the outside.
Shischer it now in front of Timmy Hansen. Hansen having a look up his inside from the commentary. He's on his right. There he is. Hansen's going to pass him. Another brilliant move from Timmy. He did that yesterday. He's the master of finding traction in the last corner.
Yeah, and he definitely had to get that done. He was down at the back after the, you know, the dreadful first couple of corners, so he's having to make up the time, and he looks like he's already up to the back of Topi. Timosjanov's gone into the joker.
Timosjanov on board with him now over the jump. Oh, sideways on the landing in the background. I think Shischer has gone with him. So Timmy Hansen coming around the outside might get Timo here. It's going to be close. He does. So Timmy Hansen, after those first couple of corners, not going his way. Topi, for me, has had a tiny delay behind Timmy and another one behind Timur when they went to the joker. We're talking a half-tenth, but...
Yeah, not very much, is it? But, I mean, now he's got that bit of clear track with Markland up in front. But Timmy Hansen said he'd watch his fastest lap of the day so far.
36.5, so we've seen a 36.9, a 36.7, a 36.5. We're going 2/10 quicker roughly every couple of laps. Topi going to hold on for the last lap. Out front, Markland's got 1.9 on Timmy. For me, at the minute, Markland's got enough. We need to watch that gap. Heikkinen's definitely going to get eaten up by Timmy and probably potentially by Timur as well. But Markland out from 1.4, sorry, 1.8.
I think with the track being that little bit damper, the standard lap is all the loose section and the joker lap is tarmac. So actually, I think the joker difference is going to be less at this point.
So our joker predictor is going to say that it's going to be in favour of Markland. But as Dan says, remember last year when it rained, I think it was, and people were doing a cheeky extra joker, they had to bring an extra regulation in to stop the drivers taking the joker more than once. They have to take it once. Markland's going to get out in front of Timmy here. Great insight from Dan Rook. Super loose and slippy around the outside. The joker lap's faster, and you can see there Markland, well, not faster than it normally is. Markland is going to take this. Is he going to go quickest? He doesn't. 2:32.9. So Bakker stays at the top of the table. Timmy Hansen did the fastest lap of the day, but obviously had to deal with traffic, didn't he, and a run through the gravel trap. So, interesting. Markland was 1.3 up on Timmy. What do you reckon Timmy lost?
Timmy lost a second on the last lap, so I'm not sure where that happened. Maybe when Toppy went into the Joker lap in front of him, it held him up that little bit, but I can't imagine he lost a second there. So
no.
Maybe.
Well, it didn't work out either way, did it? You know, what with the trip through the gravel in turn 2, bit slippery, maybe some misjudgment there from the drivers. I don't think anyone's done anything on purpose. Markland takes race 2, 2:32.9. Timmy Hansen, Timozyanov, Toby Hakkinen and Gulash Shisha, who had another dreadful start. So it's backward Markland, Gronholm, Timmy Hansen at the top of the table. The track is still getting quicker. So this was Timmer on the outside. It almost sounded like it was getting a bog there, but that's kind of perfect RPM.
Yeah, just about right. So not having too much wheel spin at all and just hooking traction. You see him rotating the car around the outside and taking a trip through the gravel trap at this point. And then watch Timmy and Toppy. Toppy is up the inside of Timmy.
Oh, yeah, he's just in his door, isn't he, right the way into the gravel. But fair enough, it's like Timmy's on oversteer, Toppy's on understeer. There's not really a lot you can do other than completely, for Toppy, other than completely lift.
Yeah, so once they're connected and making contact, they're both a bit of a passenger. And this is Timmy up the inside of Shisha with that fantastic traction out of the final corner.
Timmy Hansen really, really good at getting that Peugeot straight and pulling it through. There's Timmy Hansen running a little bit wide in the background. That will be the mistake that he made to drop a tiny bit of time. Markland takes it, but backward is still fastest at this point.
Anton, the start of a new day, and you look much happier than you did yesterday.
Yeah, we got what I wanted yesterday. We wanted a clean race, and then we will have good pace, and that's what we showed today. I mean, I didn't expect to be P1 out of turn 2, because I just said, okay, we play it safe in turn 1, we see what's happening, and everybody's going wide in every direction, so that was, of course, very, very crucial for our total time that we were P1. Unfortunately, after that, I think we weren't brave enough on the setup. We could have been doing some changes between warm-up and now to be even quicker, but for sure we're going for that change for Q4, and hopefully we can put ourselves in a good position for the semi-finals.
Well done, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Race 3 and Jonathan Pye was left at the line on board with Kevin Hansen, who'd spoken to his mental trainer overnight to get his head back in the game. Needed a good result and ended up third after the first corner. Sabo leading from Balmanis. Sabo went Joker late in the race. Kevin Hansen had done enough. It was a quick time, not as quick as backward, but it will pull him back into contention. On to race 4. Guillaume de Ridder beaten to the start by Parsonen and then beaten up in turn 1 by Farashkin. Farashkin got a reprimand for that. Farashkin then dropped it on the brakes, and Parsonen went on to take the win. The final race of Q3, Ollie Bennett got the whole shot. Disaster for Cyril Raymond. He'd had a bad day yesterday, and of the regular drivers, he was the one most likely to make good use of these super dry conditions ahead of the earlier drivers who'd gone in the wet. Unfortunately, the delay at the start meant that Cyril was unable to challenge the top of the leaderboard. He takes the flag, but Andreas Bakkerud wins Q3. Well, here are the standings then at the end of Q3. Andreas Bakkerud doing a brilliant job to win the session from that first damp race. Hakkinen second, Gronholm third, Timmy Hansen, Bachuska, Scheider, Markland and Timozyanov. At the minute, Kevin Hansen in. He's up from 11th to 9th. Balmanis, Sabo and Doran is in 12th, but 3 French drivers desperate for a place in the semis at home. Well, we've got some slow motion pictures for you to look at from Loiac. Quite a technical track. Dan Rook, this I think is a transition from turn 1 to turn 2, where you go on to the first of what isn't really that loose, but is a different grip level.
Yeah, different grip level. So you're transitioning, you've already got the car weighted on the way out of the first corner, and then you hit the loose section, and then obviously the traction's slightly different, so you've got to make sure that you've got full control of the car.
You can see there the difference in the surface. It's basically like a planed tarmac. Markland coming through turn 2, and there's a straight after that, so if you don't get the exit of turn 2 right, you're definitely in danger up at turn 3. Here's Niklas Gronholm using a little bit more curb, and the car there you can see a little bit softer maybe, and riding across to the outside of the track.
Yeah, using the curb to help rotate the car through the corner, but it looks like he's almost run a little bit wide there. But he's also able to get the transition then going into turn 2, because it's a quick succession of right and left-hand corners, so using the weight of the car to his advantage.
This was in free practice. You can see already very clean underneath the front right of Gronholm. Guerlain Chichery coming through the dust, low sun, damp track early in the morning. The conditions do change here a little, don't they? But with it being a little bit colder at night compared to quite hot during the day.
Yeah, normally in the morning at this track it tends to be a little bit slivery because we get a bit of dew fall overnight, and then that can affect the earlier races in the day.
Chichery feeling his way into the left-hander, the second to last corner, and you've got to be really patient there, Dan, to get the nose in, and then patient again in the last corner.
Yeah, really patient. It's so easy to light the throttle up and run a little bit too wide, get off of the grippy part of the surface, and lose yourself some time.
Here's Baumanis in the last corner. They've got to get onto the curbs, but not really onto the markers on the inside. They can receive a penalty for that. The stewards decided this weekend that if they're touching it with the bumper, it's okay, but not with the wheel. And that's quite hard. You can feel the curb, can't you? But you certainly can't feel the markers.
No, you definitely can't feel the markers. They move around. Obviously, if it was a solid marker, you'd cause damage to the car. So, yeah, they're having to really feel their way around. As we watch Kevin on the same corner, he's quite a bit tighter there than Baumanis, running the front of the car up over the curb, but not getting too close to those markers.
And then on the exit to that last corner, of course, you've got just a 30 or 40 metre run to the finish line. So you'll see Kevin run the car out all the way to the side of the track, and they sometimes even use the gravel trap if they're looking to stop the clocks super early. Q4 then, the last session coming up. Here is how we stand. Andreas Backerud currently in the top qualifier spot, having won Q3. Heikkinen second, having won Q1. Then it's Gronholm, Timmy Hansen, Bachuska who won Q2. Scheider, Markland and Timmers-Janov. At the minute, Kevin Hansen is down in 9th. Baumanis 10th. Sabo 11th. Liam Doran, will he make it? He's in P12. And 3 Frenchmen still looking for a spot in the semis. Yesterday at Spa-Francorchamps, young driver Antoine Hubert tragically lost his life competing in an F2 race. Today, the FIA World Rallycross Championship pays tribute. On to the early races of Q4. Guillaume de Ridder getting the best start of his 3-car race. He'd had another tricky weekend, but managed to beat everyone on the run down to turn 3. Come the merges, he was still in front. Finally, a good result for the Belgian. Race 2, Timo Scheider and Rokas Bachuska in this one, thanks to a difficult time in Q3. Scheider in front of Bachuska, but Bachuska seemingly with better pace. He used the joke laps to make the most of that. Was at the top of the timesheets. On board with Guerlain Chichery, needed a good start, needed a good run for any chance to make it through to the semi-finals. In a real bundle in turn 2, Ollie Bennett tagged the barriers and then further down the straight, ended up putting the Mini in the wall. Big impact for the Brit, but he was okay. Guerlain Chichery applying the pressure, quite literally, to Topi Heikkinen. They jokered together at the end of the race, and nose to tail, they crossed the line. But the time wasn't great. Fast guys lining up. Q4 race 4. Timmy Hansen on the inside, then Liam Doran 12th. Really needs a good run here. Baumanis 10th, would like to cement that place. Cyril Raymond desperate. Could he get into the semis at home? Timmers-Janov is in 8th. So Timmy Hansen the most secure. He also needs the most points in that championship fight with his brother and Backerud. Green flag for these guys any second now. Pressure rising, every point counts for Hansen. Doran, nothing to lose in the championship fight, but wants to make it through to the semis. He's 12th at the minute. Baumanis and Timmers-Janov, we know how quick they are. Timoziano with a great start on the outside, unbelievable start. The Hyundai going to try and cut across the pack into the side of Doran, runs the nose wide. Timmy Hansen gets the whole shot. Baumanis goes into P2. Doran is inside Cyril Raymond. Cyril Raymond trying to come around the outside and the run down to turn 3. I think Cyril Raymond down into P4 is Timoziano. After a brilliant start, ends up 5th. Who's going to go Joker? Timmer goes in with Cyril Raymond.
Yeah, Timmer wouldn't have wanted to do that, would he? But I think he'd committed early to go into the Joker lap, and now the two are following each other through there. But yeah, I'm gutted for his first corner. He seemed to get the launch really well, but then couldn't hook it up around the outside.
The drives on the inside went deep, didn't they, on the brakes, pushed each other wide, and that left Timmer's line. If they'd been early on the brakes, I think Timmer might have made that stick, but it didn't work out. Hansen with Baumanis right behind Liam Doran now. He's, what, 2.1 ahead of Cyril Raymond. They might respond to that. Cyril Raymond will hope they don't, of course, because he wants to try and get some laps in and get past some of these guys.
Yeah, but he's got that clear air, but also he's got Timoziano behind him, which he needs to go. And Liam Doran goes Joker. That's to respond to Cyril and Timoziano behind him.
So it's actually got 2.2 now, the gap, and it's going to be enough. So Liam Doran's going to come out in front. So Doran gets out in front of those two. Timoziano, I think, will be a little bit frustrated behind Cyril Raymond. Cyril Raymond, we know, is fast with that Hyundai. I'm afraid I think he's got more paid. Oh, it's a puncture with Timoziano.
His front right is collapsed at the top. He's got really strong camber on the front right wheel, so contact from that first corner, I think, has scuppered his chances.
35.9, Timmy Hansen, Edoc's fastest lap of the day. We're into the 35s. Baumanis goes Joker. 1.4 off the back of Ms. Liam Doran, so Liam's closer to Baumanis than he was. Watch for Liam on the outside. Baumanis on the inside, just a bit close. Baumanis has the shorter run. Liam Doran has the inside line. Holds the place. Baumanis drops back, so Doran's on a big push here, but Timmy Hansen is 2.5 up as we go on to the last lap.
Yeah, Timmy Hansen's got this one in the bag, isn't he? Just got to drive his race now and not make any mistakes. He set another 35.9 on this last lap, but not quite as fast as the lap before, but he's still very consistent pace.
2 laps in the 35s is absolutely incredible pace from Timmy Hansen over the crest. Desperately wants to stay up front. He's in P4. He might see himself up further at this rate. Going to beat Liam Doran at the merge easily. Is he going to dip into the 2:29s? 2:30.4 the target time of Rokas Bachuska. Hansen coming around the left right-hander. This could be the quickest time of the weekend over the line. Timmy Hansen, 2:29.2. That is an absolutely brilliant time. Is it the quickest time of the weekend?
Yes, by a 10th.
There we go. Hansen, job done. Timoziano frustrated after a brilliant start and then having to follow Cyril Raymond. Raymond with a 2:34.4. Schischrit's beaten him, and so's Paye. So the other 2 French drivers, remember the 3 French drivers are P13, 14 and 15. Obviously, the local crowd would love to see one of them go through to the semi-finals. We'll have the standings for you at the end of the session. Applause for Timmy Hansen, a fan favourite here, of course. Hansen family running with French brands all their life. Citroën and Peugeot. Running the old factory Peugeots here. And look at that time, 2:29.2. Timmy Hansen throwing down in Q4. Liam Doran, P2. That's surely going to help Doran out in his hopes of being in the semis. Was in P12 coming into this. Baumanis, Raymond and Timoziano. That's where they slot in. Hansen fastest. On board with Timmer. This looked like a great start. You can see to his right there's no one there, but unfortunately, yeah, you see what I mean about them going deep. They've run the car out, haven't they, from the apex?
Yeah, both of the guys on the inside actually ended up running the car all the way out to the gravel trap, so no gap for Timmer. You can see they're already 2 abreast, and for Timoziano as well. It was not going to happen unless he give it a massive pull on the bar and just sent it in backwards and pressed on the gas, but it's such a risk doing that.
He had to try, didn't he? With a good start, you have to try. If he'd had an average start, the better option is to drop in behind the pack. Doran, I thought, good job with the Joker strategy, because to me, Baumanis and Timmy were getting away from him, but Doran's laps in the Joker on the previous lap must have been great. Yanis is on it at the minute, and Liam edged him. Clever driving too from Baumanis, really sensible at the merge.
Yeah, very sensible. It's not worth getting in a fight now, especially when it comes to, you know, the last race of the qualifying sessions. He's already quite secure in the semi-finals, so wasn't worth trying to run the risk.
Yeah, don't give the team a load of work to do ahead of the semis. Timmy Hansen had some work to do. He got it done. Banged in a couple of 35.9s, and that saw him come out with a 2:29.2. Timmy Hansen leads Q4 with 1 race to go.
Timmy, the quickest time of the weekend so far. It looks like you enjoyed that.
Yeah, I really needed a good run. It was the first time that I got out in front after the start, and big thanks to the team who managed to put it together and figure out, like, we were losing something in the start. We've been focused on lap time and on speed on the track the whole weekend, and finally we were able to keep that speed from the beginning to the end of the race. It felt amazing to, you know, to give what I have finally, and I really needed this good one now. It was 4 brilliant laps, and the car is fantastic. The Peugeot is liking it in France.
Well done. See you in the semi.
Thank you.
The final race of Q4 at round 8 of the FIA World Rallycross Championship. Andreas Backerud currently in the TQ spot. Anton Markland, we've seen how quick the GCK Megane is round here. We know how quick Niklas Gronom can be in the Hyundai. Kevin Hansen down in 9th, needs to get further up. New tyres on the outside for him and Markland, and Sabo, who's 11th after Q3. We've seen some quick times. He's going to need to go fast to hold on to that spot. So our World Championship 1 and 2 are in this. Kevin Hansen leads by 5 points from the poleman Andreas Backerud. At the moment, Backerud will take more than those 5 points off him after qualifying. How's it going to stand after this? Great start by Backerud on the inside, but also by Gronom. Backerud should hold on to the brakes. Gronom going to try and go around the outside. Contact with Kevin Hansen with Markland on the inside. Going to try, Markland going to try and go around the outside of Gronom. Backerud is on the inside, but Markland's going to hold the right-hand side of the road and the brakes. Backerud's got him though. Backerud super late on the brakes. Kevin Hansen down in 4th place. Who's going to go Joker? Markland goes that one and Sabo goes with him.
Yeah, it makes sense for him to go now, but you know, he's in the fast qualifying race. It's not like he's going to be coming out and being held up too much by Kevin Hansen. And
sideways from Gronom, you can see from Backerud's on board.
Yeah, I noticed that actually. He wasn't able to keep the car in very tight on that corner. And you can see the 2 driver styles that come around the last corner. Gronom really sideways, Backerud really neat and tidy, and he's gaining on the back of him sideways again.
If Backerud's got pace here, I think he should Joker now down. He's 1.6 seconds ahead of Markland. And Markland, we know the pace is quick, and Markland's got clear air in front of him, having Jokered, but they leave him out. They all stay out. I wondered if he might go then. When you're in a quick race like this, you could Joker early. We'll keep an eye on that gap. Yeah, and it's what is it, 1.3 now?
1.3, yeah, so he should have put Backerud in on that lap. It looks like he's losing a little bit of time to Gronom, although Gronom's pulled a small gap now, so I don't know, it's a bit up and down. Kevin Hansen's all over the back of Backerud now. Looking at the commentary position, you can see there, he's looking for a way past left and right, but he cannot find his way through.
I suppose, really, if Backerud beats Kevin in this one, you know, he knows he's going to beat him in qualifying, take some World Championship points off him. Kevin having a look through, maybe they're just playing safe. Is Kevin going to go? Kevin does, a little bit of handbrake, a little bit of throttle, rotates the car around over the crest. Here we go. Over into the left and the right, watch for behind. Where's Markland? He's ahead already, and Sabo maybe too. Kevin's got to hold on from Sabo. Get a slot in just in front, he does. So Kevin Hansen, but Markland is in front. Markland's only 1.2 off the back of Backerud now.
Yeah, so Backerud, I think, is now in danger of being trapped by Markland, but just looking at their lap times, none of them have got down to the 35s, same as Timmy did in the previous race.
So Timmy Hansen looking on for winning the session. Markland looking on for winning this race. At the minute, our predictor says he'll go 0.2 in front. Gronom goes into the Joker, as does Backerud. Watch for Markland around the outside. Gronom over the crest. Backerud 2. Kevin Hansen 2 might get them. Kevin Hansen coming around the outside. Gronom's going to come out in front. Where's Backerud going to go? Going to slot in behind Kevin. So Niklas Gronom around the last right-hander, chasing the time of Timmy Hansen. It's not going to be enough, but it nearly is. It's very quick. 2:31.2, 4th from Gronholm. Timmy Hansen wins Q4. That's 4 different winners of the sessions here in France. Who's going to win this weekend? Your guess is as good as mine. But qualifying is done. We'll have the standings coming up for you of Q4 and after Q4. And then crucially, what does that mean for the World Championship points? Niklas Gronom doing a good job to win that one. I feel if they'd Jokered Backerud earlier, he might have been able to take that, but maybe he didn't have the pace. You know, maybe if the tyres are off, he didn't have enough pace. Gronholm from Markland, Kevin Hansen, Andreas Backerud and Sabo. Gronholm goes 4th. On board with Hansen off the line. Into turn 1, look, he slots in behind. Oh, it's just It's a bun fight, isn't it, turn one here?
Yeah, it's kind of tuck yourself in and hope for the best, I think, in that situation.
Hold tight and wait for the hits, isn't it? Almost, and not on purpose, but look at that, there's 4 or 5 bits of contact there where you couldn't really go, it's his fault.
No, there's no one to blame at this point, and Martin trying to go around the outside, and Andreas, I think, just had the extra grip and got back up past him.
Yeah, I was sure he was going to hold that line because he was clearly in front, wasn't he, as they came through that turn. Now, Baccarat say I thought maybe Gronholm was holding him up in the early stages, but later in the race, Baccarat's tyres have gone off a little bit more, so we know they're all playing a bit of a tyre game coming towards the semi-finals. Gronholm going in, Baccarat with him, and Baccarat here actually was pretty sensible because he's got a reasonable margin at the top of the standings. You know that Kevin is a little way further back. Gronholm took it, but it's Timmy Hansen who won the session.
Niklas, you won the last race of qualifying before the semis and you're through to the semis. How was it?
Not too bad, but could have been better. I lost a bit of time on the first lap, and then I was a bit too aggressive in the beginning, so I needed to calm it down, and after that it was okay. But honestly, I should have won this qualifying to be higher up in the standings, so that's it's a bit more difficult for the semi-finals, but let's see what we can do.
Thank you, Kiitos.
Well, here are the standings at the end of Q4, and Timmy Hansen has taken the top qualifier spot. Rokas Baciuska goes second, and Andreas Baccarat drops down to third. So Niklas Gronholm fourth, and it's Toby Hagen and Timo Scheider, Anton Mark and Liam Doran. Where is Kevin Hansen? Kevin Hansen is in 10th. Baumanis 9th, Kevin Hansen 10th, Sabo 11th, and Timur Timosyanov 12th. And I think that means that the lead of the FIA World Rallycross Championship has changed here in France. This is what's key. What are the World Championship standings after Q4? There we go. Andreas Baccarat leads the FIA World Rallycross Championship for the first time this season, and it's closed up massively. It was a 5-point gap between Kevin Hansen and Andreas Baccarat. It was 14 between Kevin and Timmy. They are all now within 7 points of each other. Baccarat, Kevin Hansen, Timmy Hansen, 7 points separate them. It's going to be an incredible end to this weekend and indeed to the season. Well, the RX2 cars are pulling up onto the grid, getting ready for their final. So let's take a look back at what happened in the semis. Semi-final number 1, Oliver Eriksson taking the TQ for the 5th time in 6 events, but unfortunately, Anders Midtschlag managed to climb up the back of Volders in turn 1 and roll his car. So Midtschlag out for the restart, and Eriksson, Dan, got away first again. You know, you get a restart, you're thinking, oh no, but he still got it done.
Yeah, so much experience in these cars for Eriksson, as we see McConnell running wide there and in a fight with Nikolai Gryzin.
It was a brilliant fight, wasn't it, as well? Strong between the two of them. Good joker lap tactics. Eriksson coming out here right behind Kallio towards the tail end of the race. Kallio then heading off to the joker, and you'll see that the deficit between the two is just about a second. In the background, you'll also see Fraser McConnell coming through to take P3. So Eriksson, Kallio and McConnell going through the top 3 qualifiers from semi-1 at least. On to semi-final number 2. Ben-Philip Gundersen running a little bit deep in turn 1. Sami-Matti Trojan following him. Super close between these two.
Yeah, it was really close. Sami-Matti kept him honest all the way around. He went for a joker lap just before Ben-Philip. And this is him coming out of the joker lap now. Ben-Philip still yet to do his joker.
He really closed him down as well, didn't he, in that lap in between. But Ben-Philip on his joker here, you'll see, was pushing really hard and comes out just in front of Sami-Matti Trojan. So some fantastic racing in the semi-finals. Looking forward to their last race of the weekend. Final time for RX2. We've got 2 rounds left, of course. This is the end of France, then we're heading down to South Africa. Oliver Eriksson can't quite tie up the title here, but he is on pole in the final. Ben-Philip Gundersen next to him on row 1. Row 2, Jesse Kallio and Sami-Matti Trojan. And row 3, Fraser McConnell and Vasily Gryzin. So Vasily Gryzin getting the better of his brother, finally in the qualifying of the semi-finals. But Nikolai Gryzin did a good job this weekend. Fraser McConnell got good pace on his first time in France, but up front, can anyone beat Oliver Eriksson? Away from the line, it's a good start by Eriksson. Ben-Philip Gunnarsson alongside behind Kallio, who's up the inside of Sami-Matti Trojan. Trojan will have the inside line over turn 2. Kallio trying to shut the door, contact between them. Trojan going to run wide. McConnell looking up the inside of Kallio. So Sami-Matti Trojan, Kallio moves across there, and Fraser McConnell up the inside. They were the other way round on the way in. McConnell goes straight to the joke lap. That's not a bad move.
No, good move there from McConnell. And we know he's got Kevin Eriksson on the radio there calling his joker lap, so I'm sure they've got a plan in place. He's going to come out alongside Gryzin already, so he's already on the back of the train that haven't jokered.
I think that's a good move from the point of view that these guys are all racing really hard. Franz has got the joker lap done now, and he could stand to make the move as Gunnarsson makes a move on Eriksson. Eriksson didn't know he was there, clatters his door into the front wheel arch of Gunnarsson. Fantastic. Trojan is right behind Gunnarsson. Kallio right behind him. It couldn't be closer down. The depth in talent in RX2 at the minute is superb.
Yeah, it's extremely high. We're seeing battles all the way across the field, and there's nothing between them as they go, as Kallio's
gone. Yeah, Kallio's gone. Joker Gryzin in the way of Fraser McConnell. So Kallio going to hope to come out in front of Fraser McConnell. Fraser was right up behind them. But I think Kallio's done enough here and pulls out back in front of Gryzin.
Yeah, Kallio with a good move there on the joker lap, but he's now got Gryzin all over his bumper. He's pushing in.
McConnell on the inside of both of them, 3 cars wide. Fraser McConnell takes 2 cars as Gryzin pushes into him. Kallio's not happy, gets back into the back. Gryzin's now pushing McConnell. It's a great race at the back.
Yeah, fantastic effort, and McConnell is loving this now. He's got a bit of a gap in front of him to try and bring down the gap to Sami-Matti Trojan. Sami-Matti will probably respond, or it's Ben-Philip. Ben-Philip goes joker lap.
So Ben-Philip's gone into the joker. He was plus 0.5. McConnell was plus 1.7. There's only 1.2 in it. We think the joker is about 1 to 1.2. McConnell will have the inside line here, but Gunnarsson's going to hold the position. Gunnarsson shuts the door. So Fraser McConnell holds on to 4th. Vasily Gryzin hasn't jokered yet, so we'll drop back him in Kallio another point, but this is working out for Eriksson at the minute. Only one down. He won the first 4 rounds. Spain, Belgium, UK, Norway. Had that problem in Sweden. He's almost unstoppable.
Yeah, he seems to be, doesn't he? Only the mechanical issue was what stopped him. He did have Gunnarsson for company, but he's now pulled the gap to him. So he's starting to find some pace that the other guys don't have.
Gunnarsson in 3rd. Joker lap, overlap, saying that he won't make it, and Trojan now dropping slightly off the back of Eriksson. He's edged him just a tiny bit, well, you know, like a 1/10 and a half on each lap, just to give himself a bit of breathing space. Seemingly the rest of the train is super close together.
Yeah, and that's all that Eriksson needs, though, isn't it? That little tiny bit of breathing space. As I've just seen out of competition, Kallio is tried to get past Gryzin. He's ended up backwards, having to reverse the car to turn around. You can see it in your shot now. And so that's not good for Kallio's championship hopes, and that's really good for Eriksson. He's got more of a gap, but he's saying Gunnarsson is going to overjump him.
So Gunnarsson might get him here. Gunnarsson is up to the back of Eriksson. The spotters have this information up in the tower. They're calculating it themselves. They've got the TV pictures. They've got the timing screens. They'll be saying to you, you need to push on this lap. Gunnarsson is going to get you as at 0.9. So that is easily enough. Well, easily enough. It's a 10th enough.
Yeah, just enough, but I mean, a 10th is a tiny little mistake in a corner here or there, and he's got a whole lap to try and perfect his lap. Otherwise, it's going to be down to 0.8 now, so maybe Eriksson's cooked his tyres early on in the race, and he's starting to drop off the pace.
Well, that might explain why he's managed to get away a little bit, might if he's pushed really hard. I'm looking at McConnell, 1.7, Trojan at 0.4. They both go into the joker lap now. Can McConnell get a podium, or is Trojan going to hold on? I think Trojan might hold on, but it's whether or not Gunnarsson gets them both. Gunnarsson round the outside was 0.8 back, getting go up the inside. Ben-Philip Gunnarsson. Oh, and Eriksson takes the place back. Ben-Philip runs wide. Ben-Philip on the inside into the last corner. He pushes Eriksson wide. Oh, McConnell up the inside, almost side by side over the line. Gunnarsson takes it from Eriksson and Trojan. Fraser McConnell right behind, 1.6 seconds, covering the top 4. And if there isn't an investigation into that last corner, I'll be surprised. Look at Gunnarsson. Look at what that means to him. They went over the track limits down at the end there, but it was such a great race. I personally would prefer it if the stewards didn't get involved. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, it was a lot of elbows out stuff. It made for great racing, didn't it? But, of course, we got track limits to think about. It just depends if any of these guys got a warning earlier on in the weekend or whether it's their first incident hitting the track markers.
Great point. So they get a warning, then a 5-second penalty, and in theory a DQ. We don't really want to see that, but brilliant race. Gunnarsson the winner in Sweden when Ericsson had a problem. And this time, he manages to take the win with Ericsson in the race. Fantastic result for Ben-Philip Gunnarsson, just ahead of Oliver Ericsson. Sami Matti-Trogan third. Fraser McConnell nearly managed to pick up a lot of pieces in that last corner. Certainly made up a couple of places there with Vasily Gryzin. And then Jesse Kallio down in sixth place with that half spin halfway through. We'll have to try and find out what the championship gap is now. But what a brilliant RX2 final.
Ben-Philip, there was a lot going on in that final, but it doesn't matter. You have won here in Loiak.
Yeah, it's just a crazy feeling. It was a very tough final, and I felt I had the pace, and I just have to push. And but it was very close, and I knew it will be close when Oliver came out of the Joker. But I'm just so happy for the team and for everything, the guys who support us and the mechanics who have done a very good job this weekend. And yeah, I'm just happy for everything.
Congratulations, enjoy the celebration.
Thank you, thank you.
Here are the championship standings then with one round to go. You can see the lead for Ollie Ericsson is now 21 points. He came here with a lead of 16. Jesse Kallio, say, holding on to that place. Ben-Philip Gunnarsson now has managed to get ahead of Fraser McConnell with that win, although our timing screens are showing it's under investigation, so we'll see. Fraser McConnell fourth, Sami Matti-Trogan fifth, Vasily Gryzin sixth, and then it's Nilsson and Olofsson. What a day so far. We've just had a couple of fighter jets fly over. They've been flying over every day since Wednesday. First couple of days a practice, and then after that it's just blasting the whole crowd away. Dan, they're awesome, aren't they?
Yeah, they're crazy. I mean, they're so loud. If you think a supercar is loud, then be stood behind the afterburner of one of those jets. It really rumbles your chest.
It's epic. I was glad I wasn't up the crane like I was earlier today. Went and had a little look. They went across the circuit, waved at the crowd, turned around, came back, turned the afterburners on and just disappeared into the sky. Absolutely epic. Tension is building here ahead of the semi-finals for World. Of course, then we've got the final for Euro, which has had a bit of carnage in there, semi-finals, and then we're on to the final for round 8 of the FIA World Rallycross Championship. I can't pick a winner, to be honest. We don't really know who saved tyres. You know, it's been a fantastically close weekend of action here at Loiak. You can see bottom right of your picture the cars lining up in the pre-grid. Dan, I'm feeling pretty tense for this one. Yeah, sometimes you get a bit of a feeling, and this is one of those times.
Yeah, I've got that feeling as well. I mean, they're coming into the semi-finals now. It's crunch time, isn't it, for a few of the drivers, with Kevin being near the back of the grid isn't good for him, but then the battle between Andreas and Timmy, both on the front row, is going to be crazy.
Neil Cole's down with Timur Timosyanov.
Timur, we know you're quick. You're in the back row of semi-final 2. What can you do from there?
It depends what's happening in the first corner. It's really tough here because they're short straight after the start line, and after that it's really bit difficult to be in front of the guys. Also, so you can see that a lot of guys is going really wide into the turn 1. After that they struggle to come back and the stones, and I think if I will not get the first meters really good in front of the second row, I need to reduce the speed and try to be inside on the first corner. That's only one chance to be survive after the first lap.
But that can be an advantage because you can see the people in front of you and you can see where the gap is.
Yeah, but in fact, in that way, you need to actually do the bad start, because then you can see everything. But if you have a good launch from the start line, you can't see anything. You just will be in advance somewhere there in the first corner in the group of the guys. They will be around of you, and it can be a big mess. You can see it's the rallycross, contact kind of sport, and yeah, everything can happen. But we're happy to be in the 12th position after the Q4. Now it will be tricky to be in final.
Good luck, Timur.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
So Timur's making his plans for turn 1 already, and that's a legitimate plan.
Yeah, I mean, he's just got to go all out and try and find a gap, hasn't he? Starting back row, his options aren't quite there as much as you'd think on the front row, so good that he's made a plan. Having seen what we've seen in the Euro semi-finals just now, which you guys will see a little bit later in the show, anything can happen in turn 1 and turn 2. We have seen stuff going on all the way down to turn 3.
Yeah, it's a pretty
good battle here the first couple corners, and that's what makes this track epic.
It is a great track. We've had some great fights. We've got some good fights still to come. Stay with us. Semi-finals and the finals are coming up next. We are in Loiac in France for round 8 of the 2019 FIA World Rallycross Championship. We came here with it pretty close. As it stands, it is even closer, and we cannot pick a winner. We've had 4 different winners in the 4 qualifying sessions so far this weekend. Turn 1 and Turn 2 are a complete lottery here. It is all to play for, both for the win of round 8 and for the lead of the FIA World Rallycross Championship. My name is Andrew Coley. Dan Rook, Rallycross driver, joins me on co-coms. Neil Cole reporting from the paddock and the pre-grid, as always. I am so hyped for this one, and I know Dan is, I'm sure Neil is, but there are 12 drivers who are going to be even more hyped down in the semi-final pre-grid area. So I guess we ought to take a look at how qualifying stands as we have got to this point. So here we go. Here's who won the sessions. Timmy Hansen, okay, so it's the overall. I can tell you who won the sessions. Timmy Hansen won Q4, Q3 was won by Bakkerud, Q2 was won by Bachuska, Topi Heikkinen won Q1. All those guys have made it through. Hansen with the TQ, then Bachuska second, Bakkerud, look, up in third, Niklas Gronom, Topi Heikkinen, Timo Scheider, Anton Mark and Liam Doran. What is key here, Janis Baumanis in 9th, is Kevin Hansen down in 10th, 7 points. Look at Bakkerud, 14, the gap was 5. Andreas Bakkerud, as we stand, leads the FIA World Rallycross Championship. Odds go to semi-final number 1, Hansen and Bakkerud. Timmy, that is, line up in semi-1 on the front row. Bachuska and Niklas Gronholm in semi-final number 2. The Renault Megane has been absolutely brilliant round here. Bachuska's made it through with Markland as well, so both those are in. Unfortunately, none of the French drivers have made it here, but look at those names. That is a list of names who are going to fight on the run down to turn 1. Brilliant crowd, 75,000 people come here to watch this weekend, and you can see how enthusiastic they are. British Bomb t-shirts, RS Cartel signs, of course they've got both their guys through to the semi-finals. Liam is on row 2 in semi-1, Bakkerud on row 1 in semi-1. So 1 in each of the semi-finals. The Hansens are 1 in each of the semi-finals. What about that gap at the top of the World Championship?
Yeah, it's not been closer at this point as it in years previous, so it's awesome to see that fight between 3 people.
Well, Bakkerud, of course, has taken the lead in the FIA World Rallycross Championship. He will be lining up in semi-final number 1, and Neil Cole caught up with him earlier.
Andreas, heading into the semi-final, provisionally you've taken the lead in the championship. Does that give you confidence on the front row against Timmy?
No, not at all. I mean, like, the championship is far from over. We have seen the championship this year, so it's so equal between all of us. I would say top 5 drivers. But the cool thing here is that both me and Timmy is on the front row. I think every fans out there would love to see this battle. It haven't happened many times this year. Obviously, after our crash in Abu Dhabi, that we are here today fighting together is really cool. I think it's going to be one, hopefully in the books in a positive way. I think nobody is going to give an inch in the semi, like every semi, and qualifying heat and final is very, very important from here on and in. So, yeah, definitely we're up for a cool one now.
Good luck, thank you.
Thank you.
We need to get this show on the road, don't we? There is Andreas Bakkerud, at this moment in time, the leader of the World Rallycross Championship. He knows that, but there are 2 races to go here this weekend. There's another 14 points up for grabs, 6 for a win in the semi, 8 for a win in the final. Timmy Hansen is way closer to Andreas and to Kevin than he was before because he took the TQ. So he took a ton of points off his brother, but took 9 points off his brother. and he's taken 2 off Andreas backwards, so there are 3 cars now properly in the fight. Timmy was absolutely unstoppable in Q4. He was on fire.
Yep.
Toppy Hakkinen pulling up to row 2. Danny would rather have been on row 1, but Toppy is a threat here because he doesn't have to worry about the championship. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, he's just here for a one-off, a bit of fun, and to see if he can get the best result possible. So he's not going to be worried about getting his elbow stuck in and, you know, damage limitation. He's there to try and pick his way up through the places and get himself the best slot for the final, because, you know, there's no pressure for him here. He's here just to have a bit of fun for an event, see what he can do. And he is going to be wanting to get between the 2 guys in front of him.
Anton Markland in a McGann has took a win earlier this year and then lost it with the DQ, so he will be really keen to get a good result here, get a proper win. Here's the lineup for semi-final number 1. Timmy Hansen on pole with Andreas Backert next to him. They're in that 3-way fight for the world title. Toppy Hakkinen row 2 and Anton Markland, they're just looking for wins. And they're bringing up the rear. Janis Baumanis had a brilliant performance so far this year, sitting in 5th as we arrived here and hoping to move further up the standings with Christian Sabo, who was great here in a supercar last year in Euros. Sabo, the last man to pull up to the grid. Look at the crowd behind. Oh, Timmy Hansen normally needing to fire himself up. If he's anything like as fired up as I'm feeling right now, he won't need to. Backward, they all need to stay calm but stay sharp. Toppy not looking too stressed in the car. A few long blinks now because he knows he's not going to be blinking. Once they get that green flag, once they get that point from the marshal, you do not blink until you see the green light. Andreas Backwood pulls the gloves one more time, presses the clutch one more time, pulls the car into gear, checks the handbrake, green flag up. World Championship title fight is on. This is the end of round 8. Who's going to come away as the leader? Great start, Andreas Backwood. Timmy Hansen goes back a little bit. Toppy Hakkinen almost alongside. Backwood shuts the door on Timmy. Markland drops in. Toppy taps into the back of Timmy Hansen. Sabo's dropped back. Baumanis is in 5th. Timmy having a look. Is he trying to find a way past Backwood? He's right behind him, but he won't try another run into the hairpin now. Locks a wheel in. Bit of handbrake. Timmy, did he want to go into the Joker? He doesn't. We're on board with Toppy. Toppy goes Joker now, so he's going to hop, jump and see where he comes out in this pack of cars. And Sabo must have gone in with him. He has.
It looks like to me like Timmy's run into the back of Andreas. This front bumper is looking pretty pressed in. If you look around where the headlights blanks are, you can see it's pushed up. So he's had a bit of contact there, I should think, with Andreas coming into turn 3.
Yeah, he locked his wheels definitely in there. We saw a little puff of tyre smoke. You see the front arch pushed up slightly too. So Hansen is trying really, really hard. He would have hoped to get the jump on Backwood. Backwood just seemed to hook it up better. Baumanis has dropped 1.7 off the back of these guys already. None of the top 3 go Joker. So Baumanis doesn't seem to have the pace. I don't know if he's got a problem down, but if he holds up Hakkinen and Sabo, these 3 have put the spot straight away.
Yeah, so if Baumanis doesn't get in and out the way of Toppy, like you say, that's it, him and gone. And maybe the guys out front have just got overall pace. Maybe, I'm not sure if Baumanis got a problem. Toppy up the inside of him into the last corner. So Toppy prying the door open and getting his way through just before they go across the line.
So that's Hakkinen's chance now to make it through. He's chasing down Markland. The guys in the spotters tower would have been looking and going, look, we're all good here. I wonder if they'll send Markland now. He's got 1.5. Will they send him? They do. They send Markland. That's in response to Toppy's move. So Toppy Hakkinen makes a pass at Baumanis. Markland makes a joker to try and protect that position. Here comes Toppy around the outside now. Hakkinen, the number 57, going to look to go up the inside, but Markland's going to hold his line. Toppy's going to have to pass him on track, so Baumanis just in the way of Toppy there, I think has damaged his chances of making it through to the final.
Yeah, so not quite able to make it through, but Toppy is still putting in a good showing here. He's still got time to try and catch up to the back of Markland, and there's nothing to say that Markland isn't faster than Timmy, so that they could both get the jump potentially.
Backwood and Timmy Hansen out front. Backwood has got 0.7. We don't know what tyre tactics these guys are playing down at this point in the weekend on such an abrasive circuit. That's really important as well.
Yeah, they want to have the freshest tyres possible, so trying to manage it through the qualifying stages as well as trying to get good times is a difficult one for the drivers here. We're right on board with Andreas. Looks really calm in the car. Reaches for the handbrake, doesn't quite need it. The car turned in for him anyway.
Early shift up as well into 3rd on the exit of the corner there again. A little nip on the bar, looks like the turn into turn 1. Just nip, 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 and that's sometimes just to release the rear diff.
Yeah, just to release the drive from the rear wheel so that you don't have the actual lock pushing you on and giving you understeer.
Backwood around that last right, and he goes Joker, and Timmy goes with him. So Backwood and Timmy have both gone Joker now. Markland 2.6 off the back of them. Markland's a danger for Markland and Hansen at the merge. Anton will be hoping to get to row 2, but Timmy's just about held him off. That McGann is so fast here.
Yeah, the McGann is really good, and we've seen some solid performances across the team through the qualifying race, especially Rokas Baciuska winning the qualifying session for GCK team.
Yeah, he was up in P2 as well, wasn't he, in Q4? So Baciuska absolutely flying. He is, where is he he's on the front row, so Baciuska could do something really special in the semi-final too. Everybody except Balmanis is joking, he's not going to feature in this one. So this is going to be a run to the flag. Andreas Backerud, the World Rallycross Championship leader, is going to take another point gap here, so he's going to get 6, Timmy's going to get 5. Remember the heartbreak last year for Backerud, he could have won here. Bad joker strategy cost them, but nothing has cost them this time. Andreas Backerud wins semi-final 1 from Timmy Hansen and Anton Markland. They go through. Hakkinen did a great job this weekend, but he won't make it through to the final. Sabo and Balmanis out as well. Brilliant drive by Backerud. That looked really calm and assured to me.
Yeah, very calm and mature drive there. He knew what he had to do. He managed to hook the start up, which is probably the most pressured point in the race, is getting that start dialed. And once he had that, once you know you're the first into the first corner, you can kind of control it from there.
Now he needs to have a look and see what happens in the next one, because if Baciuska were to win his semi-final from pole, then he will get pole in the final because he out-qualified Andreas Backerud. So Backerud's got his bit of the job done. If Baciuska does it, he might be on the outside, but he was on the outside this time and he got it done. It's been thumbs up the whole way back in past the crowd. Job done. Backerud wins it from Hansen, Timmy and Markland. Hakkinen, Sabo and Balmanis are out. Okay, good stuff. First 3 through to the final. Neil Cole has managed to get hold of Andreas Backerud already. I imagine he's going to be quite a happy chap, also in a rush to get ready for the final. Well, let's take a look at the action from semi-final number 1. Off the line, great start by Backerud. Here we're on board with Hakkinen looking forward, and Backerud that was able to close the door before they got there. Actually, these front 3, Dan, were in that luxury position of, wow, and there, look at that. As I say that, Anton was actually right there with Toppy, but in a line, not too much carnage.
Yeah, really calm start here for semi-final 1. I thought we were expecting to see a bit of carnage like we saw earlier from the Euro RX. But no, these guys played it sensible and all managed to get their way through. Andreas, like you say, with that rocket ship start, able to shut the door on Timmy just before they reached the braking zone. He would have had the call from the spotter saying, "You're clear, cut in." And that was what he did, and he managed to break away in front.
Yeah, great job. He just gapped Timmy just a little bit. They'll all have been pleased as well, I think, but for whatever reason, Balmanis just didn't quite. Balmanis has been rapid this year, but for some reason, the front 3 were able to gap him by, I think it was 1.7 in the first 2 laps. And Hakkinen, gambled on that early joker, and unfortunately it didn't pay off. So there's your top 3. Backerud, Timmy Hansen and Markland are through to the final. Absolutely huge crowd here. Sorry we didn't manage to get Andreas Backerud earlier. I think he's headed straight back to the paddock, understandably, to get that car ready for battle in the final, which will be coming up soon. There we are. French flags waving. They've got some representatives in the final for Euro RX. Unfortunately, I say not so much for World. We've got some VIPs up there in the tower. I believe one of them is Jean Todt. We're going to go back on board with Toby Hakkinen off the start. Now here, we can't see Markland, and for me, he gets to the apex pretty much with there's Markland, look, he's there.
Yeah, so where was Markland on the grid? He would have been, outside of Toppy off the grid, and then he would have got the undercut to get back underneath Toppy as Toppy run wider on the exit turn 1. See,
Hakkinen having lost the start there, this was a good move. He didn't count on, for whatever reason, Yanis not quite having the pace we've seen him have for the rest of the weekend. Yeah, it might be just a case of who had the better tyres.
Yeah, I think that could well be the case. We watch Markland now, we'll see the move he does. Toppy's moving to the inside to cover that line. Runs a bit deep.
He does give him a little nudge, doesn't he?
Yeah, tiny nudge, and then that pushed Toppy into the back of Timmy as well, but only tiny little touches, nothing that's going to be calling up by the stewards.
That was Hansen locking it up on the run into turn 3. Everybody a bit sideways. So this was Heikkinen into the Joker. We're taking a look at a few of the different Joker laps. We've got contact between Heikkinen and is that Balmanis under investigation? That doesn't really matter because neither of them have made it. Shame for them, obviously. Really, the front 3 for me, it's not fair to say easy ride. This is a World Championship, but that's exactly the kind of semi-final you want, Dan.
Yeah, that's what they would have been hoping for, you know, minimum damage to the car. Obviously, we saw a little bit of bodywork to Timmy's car as we see Heikkinen muscling his way up through past Balmanis, but yeah, it was a good run for them. They all had a reasonably clean race, got themselves through to the final, and now they've got a good little bit of time to go back, re-prep the cars in time for the final. Yeah,
unlike the guys in semi-final 2, of course, you have just a little bit less time to get everything sorted. Backer and Hansen coming off. I wondered if Markman might be near enough, but Timmy's super smooth as always. It's a great circuit for Timmy Hansen. And manages to get himself out in front of Anton. There's you 1, 2, 3 over the line. And breathe for them and us. Look how calm he is. Look how calm he is. Crowd are looking pretty calm as well. Give him, I don't know, 30 seconds or so. And I reckon we might just have them on their feet. So up in hospitality there at Loiac, where we're here for round 8 of the World Championship. We've got a chap in the middle in the pink shirt. He's apparently the owner of the circuit, and I happen to know that one of his guests is Jean Todt, the president of the FIA, who's been here with us all weekend observing this fantastic sport. And we've put on a bit of a show. We've got a bit more of a show for him too. Semi-final 2 is all lined up and ready to go. We're going to find out who's going to make it through to the final. Is Kevin Hansen going to be there? Will his brother Timmy get past him in the standings? On the pole, Rokas Baciuska, he won a session and he was P2 in another one this weekend. Niklas Gronholm's been fast, but not quite as quick as he's been the rest of the season. Timo Scheider's been rapid. Liam Doran as well has kept it smooth and fast. Kevin Hansen has lost the lead in the title at this moment in time, but there are still 2 races to go. He will want to make it through to the final for sure. And Timosyanov's on the outside. He's already said he's going to depend what happens in turn 1 as to what he can do. Green flag, you can hear the gears, you can hear it clunking. Timo loads the car up on the handbrake, a good long pull on it, and then eyes straight towards the lights. Good start from Gronholm on the front row. Baciuska's gone backwards here. He should hold on to P2. Doran gets a little tap, but it'll be inside for turn 2. But he goes across the gravel. Timosyanov makes it up. Kevin Hansen gets past. Liam Doran drops down to 6th place. Baciuska is in 2nd. Timo Scheider in 3rd. Kevin all locked up on the run into turn 3. Who goes Joker? Timosyanov does. Does Kevin follow him in or not? So Timosyanov's in the Joker lap. We're on board with no, he hasn't. So Timosyanov goes to the Joker. Liam right up behind Kevin Hansen.
Yeah, I'm sure Liam is not going to be giving Kevin a chance to breathe. Of course, let's not forget he's in the title fight with his teammate.
Oh, Tim is going to go halfway round. Sorry, Dan, lights the throttle, holds on to it.
Yeah, he just managed to catch that one, didn't he? But yeah, I'm sure Liam is not going to be holding back here. He's making it, looks like he's making a move up the inside into turn 1, but backs out of it. But yeah, he's applying the pressure to Kevin.
So Kevin has got to get into the top 3. He has to make it through because, as I say, backwards just ahead, and Timmy is only just behind him in the standings. It could not be closer. All 3 of the GRX cars have made it through, but unfortunately, I think the early Joker followed by that mistake is going to cost Timosyanov. But Gronholm could get this done. He's desperate for a real win, Dan. He doesn't count the win in Norway as a win.
No, I'm sure he doesn't. Everybody wants to be the first to see that checkered flag, and that's what he's going to be aiming for this weekend. Of course, he's now currently leading semi-final 2, but could he convert that into a win come the end of the race and then into the final?
If he does win this semi-final, it will mean that Backwood's on pole in the final, whereas if Baciuska can take it, Baciuska goes Joker. So he's used an early Joker to his advantage a lot this weekend. He's hoping to come out down with some clear air in front of him so he can have a big old push. He wants to get out in front of Kevin, and he does. Or is he going to be behind Scheider? He is, so that hasn't worked out for Baciuska. He needed to get out in front of Scheider so he could get his head down and try and close that gap.
Yeah, he didn't quite have the gap, did he? And he seemed to hook it up and have a good joker lap like we've seen him do most of the weekend, but just didn't quite have that gap. But now he needs to try and pass Scheider. He's having a little look up the inside into turn 2, but he can't make it stick.
Scheider is quite sideways, Baciuska quite tiny behind him. Baciuska's joker laps have been absolutely perfect, but Scheider doesn't go, and that's damaging Baciuska's chances of winning this one. Gronholm's got 2.2 on him now, as you're on board with Kevin Hansen, who hasn't jokered yet. The guys behind him have, and they're only 1.5 off him, Dan. I'm not sure Kevin's going to make it.
No, I'm not too sure either, but it just depends if he can catch up to Scheider and maybe do something with the joker lap here. Maybe if Kevin goes in now, and then Scheider potentially on the next lap, he could make up the deficit.
So Kevin needs a couple of super quick laps. Gronholm sliding the car all the way across. In the background, you see Kevin's using even more of the track. Niklas Gronholm's checking out here big time. He's got 2.4. Into the joker lap goes Kevin Hansen. This is absolutely crucial. So Baciuska's gone in, is already ahead of him. Timosyanov's going to come round. I think Timmer's going to be in front. Kevin looking to hold the place. Timmer's up the inside. Is there going to be contact? Just a tiny nudge. Kevin runs into the dirt. Going to go around the right-hander. Timosyanov's going to get it. Kevin pushes him wide. On board with Timmer. Timmer looks for the undercut on the exit. Kevin Hansen gets past him, so Kevin has managed to get Timosyanov, but he's still got 3 in front. You're on board with him now, fighting for his World Championship.
For me, that's it. That's cost it. Too much of a battle with Timosyanov. Scheider's now got the gap. He's going to get in and out in front of Kevin unless Kevin can pull off some sort of miracle.
Here we go then. He does need a miracle. Niklas Gronholm doesn't. Gronholm's miles in front. Where's Scheider going to be? Coming through the joker. Kevin Hansen trying to come around the outside. He's made up the time. Kevin Hansen going to get Scheider. He's going to go through. Unbelievable. Kevin Hansen at the last corner. Scheider. Contact between him and Timmer. Kevin sideways. Timo looking for a way through. Gronholm's taking it. Baciuska's in and Kevin Hansen makes it. What about that? He needed a miracle, Dan, and he got one. He made one.
I think something must have happened to Scheider there on that last lap before the joker, because there was no way he had that gap.
Wow, so Kevin Hansen has made it, all 3. Kevin Hansen, Timmy Hansen, Andreas Backerud are all in the final. They're all super close. I don't know how the championship standings are now. I'd like to know, but it's super close between them. Gronholm rolls back, having taken a dominant win with a 3:41.9. He was faster than Backerud was, but Backerud will have the pole because he out-qualified Niklas. So Niklas with the win. Łukasz Baciuska second, Kevin Hansen third. Scheider just misses out, as does Timosyanov and Liam Doran. Neil Cole has managed to go and find the GRX squad, so Timosyanov didn't make it, neither did Heikkinen. Gronholm hasn't in some style.
There was a lot going on in that semi-final, but untroubled, Niklas had a great race.
Yeah, he had an amazing start. Actually, it's been the same all weekend, so I'm now a little lucky it was really close to jump. But anyway, after that, just try to keep him calm and believe in his own driving. And he was driving clean and neat and managed to handle the tires until the end, and the gap was growing, so good.
Good luck in the final.
Thank you.
This was the start. I tell you what, Jussi said that it was close to a jump, and it really was.
Yeah, really close, but it wasn't, luckily, and we've seen a few people get to that point this weekend, haven't we? But they managed to pull it off and get away with it.
Super close. I mean, nowhere near as much of a start as we got Scheider and Doran had earlier on in the weekend. People have been gambling on the lights here because the joker lap is so short you can take a risk on it, but Doran took a gamble in turn 1. It didn't pay off, did it, unfortunately for him. Scheider was right in the box seat here. That was Timmer making a mistake. This is lap 1. Timmer, I wonder if both Timmer and Toppy joker too early, Dan.
Yeah, for me, I think that ruined their chances a little bit. And of course, you've got to remember it's 6 cars in there now instead of 5. So you've got more time to be held up.
Baciuska could have had a closer run with Gronholm, I think. Unfortunately, I think for him, he had the pace on Scheider, but couldn't get past him. What are we going to see? Kevin, this is Kevin into the joker. So at this point, when Kevin comes out, watch for the merge and the fight here with Timosyanov. Timosyanov needed, what, another, not even a 10th, and he would have had that done. So they both go round the left and then the right. Kevin's in on the inside. Here it is from Timmer's onboard, look. Tiny bit of contact, all fair and square. On the throttle, you can see the smoke coming off Kevin's tyres. Kevin then runs him deep, which is great. It's a good move, and that doesn't allow Timmer to get a run on him on the exit.
Yeah, so good racecraft there, but I'm really interested to see what happened to Scheider in the background. And by the point we've seen him come into shot, Kevin's already caught up with him.
So it didn't look like it was on, but Kevin did manage to get the overlap on Scheider. Scheider then had a look at Timosyanov. That was a good move from Timo Scheider to get that position. Here's Timosyanov, and look, there appears Scheider. And for a second, I thought he was going to have a go at Kevin as well, but he didn't. So Kevin Hansen does go through, but it's Niklas Gronholm taking the win from Rokas Baciuska. Gronholm, look how far in front he was. What a drive. Kevin, yes, he's made it to the final, fighting back. Two very good semi-finals. For me, Dan, most importantly, I'm really pleased to see all three of our title fighters are through. So what's going to happen in the final of round 8? We've got a Euro final coming up for you before that, so make sure that you stay with us. Massive crowd enjoying all the action here. The semi-finals were a lot more sensible than I thought they were in World, and this is why I didn't think they'd be that sensible, because the European semi-finals were just not that sensible, Dan. We're going to take a look back at the action from these. This is semi-final number 1, so this all happens before the second corner. Look, you can see there's Bulio, Ikonen. Oh, Ikonen hits the tyre wall hard. Brinderson went in next to him. Bulio spins off into the gravel. Red flag immediately. Now, Ikonen has gone off for some precautionary checks. They're all okay. Did take us a while to get things back underway, and as you can see, it was the two Dubourgs and Karai. So JB Dubourg out front, Karai in the gravel. You can see Andrea Dubourg sporting a whole roll of tape.
Yeah, just getting the last-minute fixtures there to make sure the bumper stays on for the whole race.
Now, what was crucial here is that because Brinderson had gone out, he scores no points from this point on. So he was on 109. He finished this race on 112. Whereas, well, you'll have to wait and see what happens to Larson. Of course, JB Dubourg took the win, going from 99 points to 105. So we were doing a lot of maths at this point, trying to figure out just exactly what it means for the championship, because there is a chance that Robin Larson can tie it up here in France. It's going to depend what happens in this final that's coming up next. JB Dubourg, Andrea Dubourg almost getting Tamas Karai over the start-finish line. Not quite close enough. Karai defending that position all the way around the next lap. So it finished JB Dubourg, Tamas Karai and Andrea Dubourg. Semi-final 2, poleman Robin Larson up front with a decent start. Rennie Munich slotting in. It was Mas then who went P3, Serezan P4. Sondre Evjen had done a great job in his last qualifying session to make it through to the semi-finals, but not so much in the way of progress in this one. Dana, nowhere near as much carnage in semi-2.
No, I mean, at least we still had 6 cars running by the from the start of the race, so that was a good start for semi-2 at least, but yeah, not the same carnage, and there wasn't quite as much action with the overtaking and so on.
Sideways through the Joker for Mas. Good drive by him this weekend, been really, really strong. Around the left and the right, but out front, Larson unchallenged and looking to take 6 points. Now that would take him from 132 to 138. Super controlled into the Joker with Rennie Munich right behind. Look at the way that car squashes the jumps. It just looks beautiful. It clearly suits Larson down to the ground. Munich coming through, Anton Masse as well. Those guys with just one corner to go and book a spot in the final. Huge crowd waiting for just 2 more races. They are both going to be pretty epic. Look at that, they're all holding up their T-shirts, holding up their signs. They know who they're supporting. There's a Union Jack up on top of the Monster Energy. They're looking for a French winner in this one. So European Rallycross Championship final coming up. Let's have a look at the bottom of your screens at the standings as they are. So 138 for Larson, 112 for Brinderson. But remember, Brinderson is not in this final. He won't score anymore. And JB Dubourg on 105. So we think if Larson was in the top 3, he's got Brinderson immediately anyway, because he only needs to take 4 points off him, which he'll get for 3rd, and he would then win on countback. JB Dubourg, of course, needs to beat Larson. So if he beats Larson, he could get that gap down to 30. But at that point, Larson would still win on countback if we go to Latvia and he scores a 0. So Larson could take the FIA European Rallycross Championship for supercars here in France. Let's take a look at the grid for the final of Euro RX from Lowiak. JB de Borg trying to take the title to the final round in Latvia. Robin Larsson trying to tie it up here. Row 2, Rennie Munich and Tamas Karai. Row 3, Andrea de Borg and Antoine Massé. Right, here we go. 3 French drivers in this one. Larsson, the man that JB de Borg has to beat, and he needs to hope that Munich can beat him as well. Great start, JB de Borg, but Larsson's got a good one too. De Borg's going to have the inside line down to turn 1, but Larsson just turns in across him. Robin Larsson turns in to take the lead and take control in the championship. Oh, contact, Andrea de Borg goes round. Tamas Karai comes around the backside of him. Antoine Massé was in there as well. So Massimo, Rennie Munich's off. Rennie Munich is off up at the other end of the track. Contact twice there from JB de Borg into the back of Larsson. He's letting him know he's there, and he's letting him know this is not going to be an easy ride.
Yeah, he's going to have to let him know he's there. You know, this is Robin Larsson. It's not a man who easily cracks under pressure, and he's out in front now, and we're looking at
Rennie Munich not happy at all, letting Andrea de Borg know that he didn't think what he did was cool. Larsson leads from JB de Borg. JB de Borg now got to outpace him and out-joker him down. There's only 4 cars in it. In theory, you know, that helps him out, but he's not going to want to drop back into traffic, and Larsson isn't going to joker early.
No, Larsson's going to hold on for as long as he needs to, and then spotters will be looking at the timing, seeing when he can go. JB can't go right now because he runs a risk of running into Anton Mats, who's just gone joker lap now.
2 spectators who don't want to watch a race together. That's absolutely certain. They've got nowhere to go because there's a fence behind them. And Munich's still letting de Borg know. De Borg is still letting Larsson know. I'm still here. Okay, now we're friends. We've had a chat. We've dealt with it.
Shaking the heads there. They're not. Rennie's not happy, is he? But yeah, de Borg, he's looking up the inside of Larsson. Every time he comes around into the first corner, he's pointing the nose up there.
Massé's gone to the joke already and is 3.6 back. Karai is near enough. Karai's quite quick. I mean, would de Borg risk an early one? He does. JB de Borg risking an early joker, so he's going to hope now. He'd love to get out in front of Karai. That's a big ask. He won't do that. It's only a second in it. But he now needs Karai either to joker or to nail his laps, because that's JB's only hope of getting Larsson.
Yeah, JB's now all over the back of him, so he's going to be looking up the inside into this last corner. I don't doubt it. It's Karai sideways. JB looking up the inside of him. He can't quite make it stick. Has he got extra traction out of the corner? No, he hasn't, so having to duck in behind him, and this is damaging JB's hopes.
It is. He wanted to get out, didn't he, alongside at the very least. Now Larsson has 1.7 on JB de Borg. I wonder if he'll go now. I think he's going to wait personally. I think Larsson will wait, and he does. He goes, and now Karai goes. So de Borg now's got to close down on Larsson as much as he can and hope that Larsson's joker isn't as good as his. We know what Larsson's like on a one-lap joker.
Yeah, he is missed a big commitment, isn't he? He can pull out of the bag when he has to. His car control is absolutely incredible, and I think we'll see him go on this lap. It makes perfect sense for him to go in and cover off JB when he can, instead of letting JB have the breathing space.
2.2 seconds is the gap. Will Larsson go now on 5 when he thinks he's got enough, or will he hold on for lap 6? On the brakes, watch for the attitude of the car. He's going to go joker, definitely. Rolls off the throttle, rolls on the brake, a little bit of handbrake maybe on the way. And Larsson now for JB de Borg. This for the European Rallycross Championship for Supercars. Larsson comes around the inside and he gets JB de Borg. He's just got to hold on for one more lap.
Yeah, he's just got to keep it really tidy now, but he is going to know what is at stake, and you can see on the live timing, live points on the side, he has won the championship if he holds this position, so he just has to stay calm. He cannot make any mistakes now.
Larsson in full focus mode. He's been in full send mode all year. It's been a brilliant performance. I'm hoping we might be able to see him back in the World Championship, because Larsson has been on just incredible form. He rounds the long right-hander in front of this huge crowd at Lowiak. We thought it was going to go to Latvia, but Larsson, with wins in the UK, Norway and Sweden and a P2 in Germany, has been pretty much unstoppable. He's unstoppable here in France, and he will win the 2019 FIA European Rallycross Championship for Supercars. What a job by Robin Larsson. Does it with a round in hand. JB de Borg tried everything he could to beat him, but not this time. Larsson is the champion. Good effort by by JB, not enough. You know, like he needed the pace he's had in qualifying here, didn't he, earlier in the season. He needed to be doing that to Robin in more places.
Yeah.
And poor Brinderson.
Yeah, poor Brinderson taken out in the semis, and that meant that, you know, that was his championship hopes over. And then, yeah, like you say, JB needed to pull out of the bag a bit earlier in the year, but maybe, you know, luck wasn't quite with him, and Larson's just been on form from day one.
He's been incredible. That car, of course, has won the World Rallycross Championship in the hands of Matthias Ekström before. 2016, wasn't it?
16 car, yeah. They've been doing a bit of development.
Yeah, it's nearly up to the... Well, it's a different car, isn't it? Because I remember Liam Doran saying it can't be the same car because we think this car would suit Liam. Because it suits Larson. I'd love to see Larson and Liam in the same team, would be brilliant. But Robin Larson with a fantastic performance all year long. I bet he's gutted he didn't take the win at Germany last time, but he took enough points. And of course, when Brinderson didn't make it, they were able to do the calculations like we were and figure out what he had to do. Robin Larson has got the job done. 8 championship points with JB de Boer behind him, and Brinderson not in the final sees him crowned the FIA European Rallycross Championship for Supercar 2019. Karai is 3rd, Massa is 4th, Munich 5th, Andrea de Boer down in 6th. So there is a Frenchman on the podium at home in France. Neil Cole is with the European champion, Robin Larson.
Robin, what a season it's been for you, and you are now European Rallycross champion as well as winning in Loyac.
Yeah, we had a terrible day to this semi-final, and I got my shit together and just analyzed what I can do better, and we did a good start in the semi-final and the final, and that's it. So then we could control the race from there, and yeah, we had a good season. The team have been incredible all the season, so can't thank them enough.
The boys are behind you celebrating. Apologies for the language. What does it mean to you to be champion?
Hey, it's always good. We had a rough season last year, so getting back and getting this car has been wonderful, and now it's one championship left in 3 weeks or something, so just recharge and take that too.
Congratulations.
Well, apologies there for Larson. Obviously excited to be the European champion. Hoping he's going to be the Nordic champion as well. He said we've got another job to do, but very much job done here today, Dan.
Yeah, fantastic job. You know, we didn't necessarily see there was some blips in the qualifying.
I don't actually think Munich can say that was de Boer's fault, to be honest. It's just a bundle into turn 1 and 2. What do you think?
Yeah, just a racing incident. They touched wheels, and that was what just sent Andrea into the air and both of them out.
Quite surprising, actually, for me that small contact made both cars retire. You know what it's like. It depends on the angle, depends on how it glances off, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think could well have been steering for Rene. We saw him dart off to the side, maybe not having full control of the direction the car was pointing.
Karai in front of JB de Boer. I don't know whether or not that would have been enough to make the difference for JB. I mean, no, I don't think it would, to be honest.
No, Larson was on form when he had to be in this final. He knew he needed to get the job done, and he went out and did it.
JB, I think, needed to beat him at the start, which is what Brinderson did back at the Estering. You know, with Larson's out front, he's just able to control the situation. That was what he did. He takes the championship, and it's going to be fun to see him put on a show when we head to Riga in a fortnight's time. Final championship standings after round 5. Robin Larson, as you can see, with an unassailable lead. Thomas Brinderson and JB de Boer are going to be doing battle for P2, so don't miss that. René Munich will want to drag himself up onto the podium, but he'll need one of those two to have a bit of a falling out. We've seen that today. Andrea de Boer just behind René, Tamas Karai, Tiedemann is 7th, Mikko Ikonen in 8th. See the heat haze rising from the crowd. They're all waving in the background that they're miles away, and they're still on it. They're still here, they're on their feet. They're waiting for one last race. This is it. Round 8 of the FIA World Rallycross Championship will be decided in the next 6 or 7 minutes. Got the grid to load, and then it's time to get headed down towards turn 1. Andreas Backerud on the pole. Baciuska wasn't able to win his semi, so he wasn't able to take that pole slot. Niklas Gronholm up front with Backerud. Gronon wants that first real win. Yeah, he got the one in Norway. We've said that, doesn't count. He had the one taken away in Abu Dhabi after the contact with Kevin. You know, he's had one taken away, one given to him. Neither of them count. He just wants a real one. Kevin Hansen, also, you know, that win in Abu Dhabi, it doesn't count. But Kevin, do you know what? I don't think Kevin will care right now. I think he's pleased he's in the final.
Yeah, I mean, that's the most important thing. And the shocker of qualifying sessions, wasn't it, to only qualify for the back row of his semi, but and then managing to make it up somewhere. But he's there, and he's going to be gaining more points.
It's interesting that Kevin called his sports psychology, his head coach, overnight to try and get back in the game. You know, we must remember he's very, very young. He's had the weight of the World Championship lead on his shoulders since the start of the season, on and off between him and Timmy. And he needs to get his head back in the game. He's managed to fight his way back into the final. There's Graham Rodemark in the middle, on the radio to Kevin right now, talking him through those final bits of tactics. The belts go just that little bit tighter as he looks to respond to the points that have been taken off him by Andreas Backerud and by his brother Timmy Hansen this weekend. Here we go. It's final time in France. On the front row, Andreas Backerud, who currently leads the World Rallycross Championship, and Niklas Gronon looking for a first proper win. Timmy Hansen would love to win here in France. Łukasz Baciuszka, his first victory here. Anton Marken, we know the Megane is super quick. Kevin Hansen, could he take a win from P6? Can he limit the damage in the World Championship? It's so close. Hansen thumps his arms, gets himself ready. An adjustment for the glasses, an adjustment for the lid. Everything's tight. Gonna get these loaded up. Green flag. This is it. Look at the crowd behind. All the volunteers are there. Everyone's on their feet. The phones are out. The lights are on. Great start, Backerud. Timmy Hansen goes backwards. Gronon's got an even better one though. Gronon puts a squeeze on Backerud. Backerud's over and he runs deep. Timmy Hansen up the inside, takes the lead. Baciuszka goes with him. Marken around the outside. The two Megans are in there. Kevin Hansen under fourth. Timmy Hansen in the lead from Anton Marken. Then Baciuszka. Where's Backerud? Backerud's up the inside of Gronon. Who's going to joker on this one? Baciuszka goes early. Baciuszka's a threat now. Kevin Hansen stays on the standard lap. Who's gone with him? Backerud's gone with Baciuszka.
Yeah, Backerud going in there as well. Baciuszka, I think, was a good move for him to try and leapfrog Kevin when he comes to do the joker. He's at the back of the queue, so he's got that little bit of space to try and gain the time.
Oh, runs a bit deep, but he's got Gronon already. Andreas Backerud probably isn't going to take this one now, but he leads the championship. It's about what the points do as we come towards the end of the weekend. Gronon got such a good start, and then him and Backerud just got it wrong in turn one. They both braked each other out past the apex.
For me, I think Backerud got a bit greedy, trying to be late on the brakes, and it just made the two of them hook up. If he'd been a little bit earlier on the brake pedal, then Gronon would have tagged the front end of him.
Gronon goes through into the joker lap now. Kevin Hansen, Timmy Hansen, Anton Marken, none of them have jokered. Here comes Gronon, he drops in behind Backerud. So, okay, Baciuszka is the threat now for the win. Looking back, he's 1.8 off for me. Timmy Hansen and Anton Marken have done a great job here. Kevin Hansen, he could hold them up for Timmy, but he's not going to do that, as he just wants the best result possible. Dan, they're not playing team tactics now. He's way too close.
Yeah, no, he is. They are not interested in what Baciuszka's doing. They are going to be looking solely at what Andreas is up to. Andreas is the threat for the team. He's the one that they need to keep their focus on.
And Andreas is the threat, of course, for Kevin Hansen. So looking at the gap at the minute, 1.7 to 3.1, it's only 1.4. Kevin doesn't have enough at the minute. Andreas will get him and take another couple of points off him potentially.
Yeah, but then we've got to look at Timmy at the front. Timmy leading. If he wins this race, he gains 8 points compared to what these other guys would be down in, first or fifth.
You know exactly what's going to happen here, don't you? We're going to come away from here with a super close championship standing. At the minute, 1.2, Joker 1.4. We're saying Backerud will get Kevin Hansen as it stands. Timmy Hansen goes standard lap. Marken goes Joker. Anton Marken's gone to the Joker at 0.8. Baciuszka was 2.5. Back into 1.7 gap between him and his teammate. Will they ask Baciuszka to hold off? They won't. Baciuszka's coming around the outside. Going to try and take Marken. Watch for the merge. Marken shuts the door and he holds on from Baciuszka.
Yeah, so a good spot there by the GCK team, finding a little hole for him to go in to get up through. Now Marken's going to be looking to overtake Kevin Hansen on track, to even though Kevin hasn't jokered, but he's still going to be holding Marken up.
So Marken behind Kevin Hansen. Kevin Hansen is just watching Andreas Backerud now. He can't beat his brother, he knows that. Timmy Hansen goes Joker. Timmy Hansen has gone to the Joker lap now, over the jump. Kevin out front. Here comes Timmy. Is Timmy going to back the pack up for Kevin? I doubt it. I think Timmy's going to get in front of him anyway. way. So Timmy comes out in front of his brother, perfect. Joker in, Joker out, thank you very much.
Yeah, that was exactly what Timmy needed for the win now. He's just got one more lap to hold it together and not have to worry about the Joker. For Kevin, the pressure is on. He needs to keep it pumping and get himself up there.
He's got to try and beat Andreas Backrud. The gap is 1.8. Backrud's in traffic. He's behind Baciuska, he's behind Markham, but he's watching that gap. It's 1.8 from Kevin back to Backrud. Backrud's keeping it smooth. Kevin goes Joker. Here we go then. This for the positions, this for the points in the World Championship. Timmy Hansen out front. Kevin's too wide. He goes sideways in the Joker twice. The tyres are smoking up, but he gets Baciuska. Oh, he's out in front. Kevin Hansen comes out in third, but Timmy Hansen takes his third win of the year to put himself back into contention for the World Rallycross Championship. Bachman second. Kevin Hansen fights for third. Oh, it couldn't be closer. Two Hansen cars on the podium. Backrud in the mix as well. What a season! Brilliant! 3 wins for Hansen. He loves this place.
Yeah, it just suits him and the Peugeot down to a T, doesn't it? And my goodness, this championship is wide open.
Oh, I don't know if my heart's going to hold out when we got a lap here in South Africa to go. We came here with Timmy. He's getting out of the car. He's going to get on the roof. Get in.
Kevin's getting up there with him.
How did Kevin get third? I really didn't think he'd do that. I didn't think he'd get Backrud, to be honest. That's twice down in the semi. Oh, huge fireworks. Fireworks in the championship too. Kevin, look. Kevin has not been on the pace this weekend, and that is the relief of dragging a result out of a fight.
Yeah, he needed it, though, didn't he? He desperately had to do that.
They both needed it. They've had amazing results in Titans RX and Nitro Rallycross, but they have not been performing in the FIA World Rallycross Championship. Now, the Hansens have pulled a performance out of the bag when they needed it most. The World Championship is on. Timmy Hansen wins. It's an all-Swedish podium with Anton Marken in second. A great performance from Marken, somewhat overshadowed by the World Championship fight. Kevin Hansen somehow grabs third. Baciuska is fourth. Backrud in fifth. Niklas Gronholm in sixth place. Neil Cole is with Kenneth Hansen.
Kenneth, you know what it feels like to win here, but to watch Timmy win, how does that feel?
You know, it's such an amazing crowd to win in front of in Loyac here, and it's absolutely the best event to win. And to see Timmy do it here, we struggled, you know, we fight for it, we give it all, and we were in a bad position. And then he come out and he do like this is absolutely marvelous.
You can see how much it means to you and the family and the team.
Absolutely, you know, in hard positions, and we had a bad race in Canada to come back and to do this. And you know, Kevin was also in such a bad position, came back from 10th and on the podium. So both boys on the podium, it's absolutely marvelous.
Congratulations, enjoy it.
Thank you, we will.
Oh, it means the world to Kenneth, doesn't it? He's such a calm man. And it means the world to him. He's got me all emotional by being all emotional himself. Yeah, they're his sons, but it's, you know, Kenneth is a rallycross legend. He knows what it means. He knows about championship fights. He knows about this French crowd. They've been Citroën and Peugeot for donkey's years. Not with the factory Peugeots, but these cars prepared in Paris, and that will mean the world to the guys who worked on the cars last year, developed. Kevin Hansen riding the side of the car on the way down past the crowd. That was a fantastic performance from both of them. Backrud's been great too. I mean, I can't wait to see the points. I cannot wait to see how close this is. Crowd making their way down to the podium, which is parked in the pre-grid, and we'll be taking these guys for one more lap, a lap of honour. This crowd here is massive. It's hard to explain the atmosphere at Loyac. It is fantastic. Yeah, they wanted a Frenchman to win, but do you know what? They'll take a French car. So another look back at some of the action from the final. This is Kevin Hansen. Now, Kevin, for me, turn one, what happened with Backrud and Gronholm? You said you felt Backrud maybe got greedy, and obviously that's partly defending and partly attacking.
Yeah, for Andreas running the car deep on the brakes, you can see here, and then the contact between the two of them, none of them even able to get it turned in.
He might have done better there, mightn't he, just to give the place to Niklas and then hold off Timmy behind. Kevin, now look over far left of your screen here, avoids any of the contact with anybody else, drops in behind Baciuska. So at this point, you know, Kevin's in fourth, and jokering and people slotting in left and right. I kind of thought the Hansons were watching back for backward. For me, Timmy was going to win this from about lap 2. But were they watching back for backward for a gap? That's what we thought they were doing. And actually, it didn't matter, did they? Might as well hang on to the last lap. Who cares? Hold on, see if you can get it done. If you don't get it done, well, so what? If you do, brilliant.
Well, yeah, exactly. It's not like Kevin was following a slow car and had to try and find the slot to fit in. He just had to drive his own race. So really, let everyone take the Joker lap around them and then, you know, go in and see where he can come out.
Timmy Hansen through the Joker, coming out in front of his brother Kevin, who at this point hadn't even jokered. So he was in P2, and you can look at the gap back to Baciuska. For whatever reason, Baciuska didn't get the laps in. Look at Kevin, he was smoking the tyres everywhere, particularly now on his Joker lap. So watch him on the exit after the jump. Here we're going to see it, I'm sure. So he goes this way, then the other, gets a bit too sideways, smokes it up through here. There you go, pouring off the rear tyres, and somehow comes out in. I mean, that was full commitment from Kevin Hansen to take that podium.
I think a thing to remember as well is he can't see if there's a car coming on the standard lap. He was just hoping that the slide out of there was enough to shut the door.
Certainly not when his nose is facing the helipad in the middle of the track. I mean, that was really sideways from Kevin. So committed. I'll tell you what, if Jean Todt here watching today, hope you enjoyed that, sir, because that was some great racing. Look at that. Back in the game, Timmy, back in the game. Amazing. Fantastic, Timmy, greeting the team. Big hug for everyone. Graham Rodemark there in the sunglasses. Kevin Spotter congratulating Timmy. Fantastic, fantastic. Celebrations for the Hansen squad, and rightly so. Two completely different stories. Timmy Hansen came here 14 points off his brother's lead, and seemingly having had a bad weekend, didn't make the semis in Canada. We thought, is it all over? Can he fight back? Well, he fought back brilliantly. Kevin Hansen's had another torrid weekend, P10 in quali, somehow made the final from the semis, and then somehow made the podium. He has dragged a result out, and that is desperately what he needed to do, just to get back into it. Andreas Backerud not on the podium here, but in the final. Backerud taking 5th, so he'll get 2 points for that. And it's going to be super, super close. Right, here we go. This is it. This is the all-important bit. Oh! There are the drivers' standings. Andreas Backerud leads the World Rallycross Championship by 2 points. Timmy Hansen and Kevin Hansen are equal on 158. We have 2 rounds to go. We have 60 points up for grabs. The World Rallycross Championship has never been more open. It has never been so close. Incredible. Neil Cole is with Kevin Hansen, who I think is going to be very happy indeed.
Kevin, you look exhausted. Talk us through what happened in that final.
Wow, that was amazing. I started last and had a really good launch. Then it was all kind of messy in turn 1. I saw Backer got pushed out wide, and I just knew that's the guy I have to be ahead of. So I took that. Then I pushed a lot, but I didn't really have the speed. But we stayed out, we pushed a lot, we let the others do the mistake, and when I saw Timmy get out ahead, or just before he took the Joker, I was like, maybe I hold back Anton a bit to make sure he wins, because that is what we really needed, Loyak. But then, when I took the Joker, it was mega close, but I put a higher gear, haven't been there all weekend, kept it lit, almost lost it, he helped me save it, and that was the podium. Wow.
Well done, congratulations, hard work.
Yeah, thank you.
Here are the team standings after round 8. Team Hansen MJP with a brilliant result this weekend on 316. Then GRX Tanaco P2. Monster Energy RX Cartel, look. They're within reach of GRX Tanaco, so there's still a fight there. There's lots of points up for grabs. Remember, both cars scores points in this, so Hansen MJP definitely with the advantage. GC Competition 4th, Team Start 5th, GCK Academy in 6th. Neil Coles with Anton Markland.
Anton, I've spoken to you several times this weekend. You've not always been happy, but a big smile on your face. 2nd place in Loyak, you've got to be happy with that.
Yeah, no, I'm really pissed off. I want to win the race. No, of course, I'm very, very happy and pleased with the position we had, because it didn't look like this on Saturday evening, but we put our heads down. We figured out what we needed to do on the Sunday, and we did it. So very, very happy with the team, what they performed this weekend. I mean, it's also their home event, and I see they have a lot of friends coming around, and I guess a lot of pressure and a lot of minds going through their heads as well. So I'm just really happy that they could keep it together and just give me such a good car for the semis and finals, because yeah, car was good, and then we deserve a P2.
Well done, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
So Anton Marken there, that's Swedish for I was quite annoyed. But I'm not sure if he was joking or not. I think he's half joking, because I think genuinely, I think GCK could have won this event. Yeah, the pace from Baciuska and Marken just absolutely brilliant. But they didn't, they couldn't, because this man was unstoppable in the final. Timmy Hansen, the winner, with Neil Cole.
Timmy, you knew when you came here that there was one thing you had to do, which was win in Loiac, and you've done it. What does it mean to you?
It's so big. I mean, I can't describe the support I'm getting in the paddock the whole weekend. It warms my heart to see everybody, and such a pleasure racing here. It's the second time winning here for me, and it's an amazing feeling. Yeah, so it feels amazing. I just want to say that also this is in memory of Antoine, who passed away yesterday. As a racing driver, you feel it, and it's a big loss for the whole sport. So, but the victory feels good. I don't know what happened in the championship. It's a big mess between us three now. It will be an interesting fight at the end of the year.
Well, I can tell you, good words, by the way, tribute to Antoine. It's 2 points in it. Andreas leads, but you are level with your brother, 2 points behind Andreas.
It couldn't be more exciting than that. I don't know how to handle that.
Well done, thank you.
Thank you.
Don't worry, Timmy, I don't know how to handle it either, mate. It's just, I really hope, let's hope they all have a great run in Latvia. I want to race for the World Rallycross Championship. I'd love to race in the final in South Africa. I'll take the semi-finals. Let's not finish it in qualifying. Let's have a race for it. Let's have a race for it in South Africa, in Cape Town. Just make them wait a bit, you know. Well, it's not going to finish in Latvia, that's for sure, but I want to see all three of them in it, you know. That's what I want, Dan. What you want?
Yeah, 100%. They've all got to be in it, haven't they?
We spoke. Okay, we like a story. You know that. Okay, national anthem. Let's watch this. Look at the smile on Timmy's face. The relief. It's an all-Swedish podium for round 8 of the 2019 FIA World Rallycross Championship, and Timmy Hansen's win sees him right back into the heart of the title fight. Kevin Hansen's P3 means he is equal with Timmy on points, and Andreas Backerud's solid performance over the last 2 weekends, including that win in Canada, sees him at the top of the standings, just 2 points ahead. What a weekend. You could not write it down.
No, I mean, this is the best championship out there ever, in my opinion.
I think this might be the best year of the FIA World Rallycross Championship in terms of points, in terms of how close it is, in terms of the number of winners.
Guys, pick up the trophies.
Well, we have got 2 rounds to go. The green lights came on here in France, and we've had strong racing all weekend. We had 4 different people winning the 4 qualifying sessions. We had 6 different winners in the first 7 events. The only man who won 2, of course, was Timmy Hansen. Hansen looked on form. He took one of the sessions. We saw Haken and Baciuska. Backerud was looking super calm when he won his semi-final. Semi-final number 2, Liam Doran got pushed a little bit wide. Gronholm took this one so easily. He was out front. There was a bit of argy-bargy behind him, but he was making it look easy. Kevin Hansen didn't look like he was going to make it. And somehow, right at the end of the race, Gronholm coming through in the background. Here, watch for Kevin Hansen, comes out, Scheider gets past Timosyanov, and somehow Kevin books that spot. It was absolutely crucial that he made it, and make it he did. On then to the final. Kevin with one more job to do from P6 on the grid. What could he do? He got P4 at the start. Backward and Gronon ran wide. It was looking like certainly Backward couldn't win it from there. We didn't think Kevin was going to be able to beat Backward. Out front, Timmy Hansen was just completely and utterly untouchable. Kevin never gave up. They have fought for this result all weekend long. Andreas Backward and Timmy Hansen have fought their way back from Abu Dhabi, and Timmy Hansen this weekend becomes the first three-time winner of the year to get himself within 2 points of the World Championship lead. We have three of the best rallycross drivers in the world fighting it out to be the World Rallycross champion in the next two events. You had better be with us in Latvia in 2 weeks' time. We will see you there.